Welcome back, Popstars. I'm Rizzo.
I'm Benji.
And this is the Pink Popcast.
Pop.
For those of you who might just be joining in, this might be the first time you've ever heard us in this format.
As a podcast. So welcome to the podcast if you're new, if you've met us through reactions, and if you were here back when we were doing podcasts and there was only 60 of us, welcome back. We are here. If you want the previous episodes, they're on Patreon.
Yep.
And we're going to hop back into podcasting.
I'm super excited, because we're going to be doing these every Wednesday, and this is where we'll kind of get more in depth with our reviews, our discussions, and of course, our debates. Yeah, Benji and I, we might be best friends, but we can fight like an old married couple.
You know.
As one does.
As one does with their friend, because no one can piss you off. No one can piss you off by disagreeing with you like a friend.
So if you're enjoying this, you can listen to us on all the platforms.
All the platforms.
We're on all of them.
Listen to podcasts.
I usually do Spotify, but we're there on Apple and Google as well. So there you go. Be sure to share and download us. But why don't we get all that now that we've gotten all that out of the way?
We're gonna hit the
God,
topic.
We're like rusty at this, aren't we?
It's fine. We got this.
It's because we're so used to cutting out the dull moments.
Yeah.
And now we're back into it's like everything we say has to be like on.
It has to matter because we're not cutting these.
Yeah,
we don't have time.
We don't have any time. But we had plenty of time in the year 2021 to watch movies.
Exactly. So we're gonna go over these movies.
Did you count how many you'd seen
with y'all? I think 34 was my number.
Oh my God, I don't even know. I should have counted mine, but 34.
Because I had one long list.
We are going to go, we're going to discuss the films that we did see. We might mention some that we didn't, but the main thing is we're going back. We're going to go back and see what we liked. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about how good they were. You have yours categorized by...
I have them on movies I enjoyed, movies that I enjoyed that were bad, movies I did not enjoy, movies I hated, and movies I loved.
And I just rated them from 1 to 5 because that seemed easier to me. But then it became more complicated because there was technicalities and it wasn't just 1 to 5.
These were your technicalities.
They were my own technicalities that were, instead of 1 to 5 or like a 4 or 5, it would be like a 4.7 or 4.6. So it got ridiculous there. But we did it, and we're going to go through this, and we're going to try to make it quick because we know that we have the tendency to ramble.
What? No.
So, yeah.
Why make it quick?
Because if we try to make it quick, then it'll be a normal like 30 to 40 minute episode. But if we take our time, it's going to be like 2 hours. So let's try to get through this.
What's wrong with that? All right. Well, then I guess we'll start off positive with the movies we enjoyed. Benji, you want to start us off?
I will start. So with this, I'm going to start off with, let's say, my lowest enjoyed movie, Malignant. That's probably one of your higher movies that you really liked.
But you know what? I'm glad you enjoyed it because honestly,
I did. It was like fun. It was just super cheesy and predictable.
Oh, you know, it's funny because it's like I remember when we watched it, you were talking about how predictable it was, and it is very like it basically says, "Oh, we know what you're going to guess," but it leans kind of in a different. By the way, they're going to be spoilers, so.
Get over it.
Get over it. Okay, so wait, what was because it was a character's name. Was it Jonathan?
Oh, we don't have time for all this.
Oh, we don't have time for all that?
No. Let's move on.
No.
I found it predictable.
Gabriel. So like obviously we knew that Gabriel was going to be like their twin.
Yeah.
But did you really expect him to come out of the back of her head?
I didn't, but a part of me, like, I didn't know how, but I knew he was living on her back. So that's what because I could see that the person was walking backwards. So I was like, I could tell that they were conjoined. I just thought, you're
also just really stupid good at that shit.
Yeah, I could tell that. I saw that like when she got smacked on the back of the head in the first part of the movie, that he was awakened somehow.
You're right.
So I was like, he's on her back somehow, and he was asleep, and somehow she doesn't know he's there. So he's not like an actual face, but it's something, and then we find out.
Well, I'm glad though that we watch it, and I'm only talking about this one because it is in one of my higher up lists.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this for all of our movies, but I enjoyed Malignant because it introduced me to the genre giallo, which is for Italian horror and thriller films that like spaghetti westerns were. Right. Well, So Giallo is for American horror films what spaghetti westerns were for American cowboy films and westerns, where it was like the Italians, like the cinema, they saw it, they saw what we were doing, European cinema, basically went, oh, we can do it, but we don't have the same limits. So they weren't like as bound by like sex and violence. So they kind of just like went all out.
Okay.
And so like Giallo, which was the name, is the Italian word for yellow, and it was basically based on like the old pulp novels that they were yellow covers.
Yellow bound books.
This, by the way, was all stuff I learned this year because of this movie.
Yeah.
And because I was looking into it, it's cheesy as hell, and I was like, what the hell is this? And I kept seeing things pop up like, oh, it's like based on old Giallo films, and I ended up buying Cat of Nine Tails was
an old Giallo film. All
Yeah.
right, that took like 15 minutes. We're never gonna get through 30 movies at this rate. I'm telling you, we gotta keep moving.
Look, I'm just like,
keep moving forward.
This is the cool stuff. Like, even if a movie's not good, it should hopefully inspire you to go a direction, as opposed to just being like a full. And that's a lot of times, by the way, this is important. This is important, Benji. Benjamin.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. I just
important.
have a question.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if anything, even if a movie is like not good, if it still inspires me to like, if it's passionate enough and it makes me want to kind of discover more about it and the genre that inspired it, I count that as a win. It's the aggressively mediocre films that end up in my dislike/hated list. Those are the ones that I'm just like, you didn't make me want to do anything. You just make me want my time back. Like, I didn't have any fun. No, we're good.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Is spaghetti western a not okay term now? Because it seems a little racist. Because it's about Italian Western
that's
films,
actually,
right?
Yeah. I honestly, he's
Italian, so he can say it. But I'm just saying, for a me person, I can't probably say that.
I don't feel like I haven't heard anything about it. We'll look up that.
We'll look it up later.
Spaghetti westerns.
For now, hold off with a no. Don't say it. Popstars. We'll get back to you.
All right, I will. So we're in the movies I enjoyed. I guess my least favorites, because it's like
the least enjoyable of the enjoyable.
Well, I don't want to put it that way, but I do have movies I enjoyed 1 to 10, and I'll get the bottom two out of the way because they're more or less the same. But Black Widow and Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, enjoyable films.
Oh,
they were good films.
So much higher for me.
But they're not bad films. They're just like I enjoyed them. I had fun. Shang-Chi I saw with a family whose kids I take care of, and they loved it.
Yeah.
And
we saw it together the first time.
We saw it, which I really enjoyed it, and then I saw it again with that family, and the kids were just basically like doing karate chops and everything.
Yeah,
like afterwards. And
always, you're like, I wish somebody would mess with me.
And it was kind of the same with Mulan. Like Mulan from last year, terrible film.
Ugh.
But I saw it with that family.
Yeah,
made it 10 times more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, because you see a kid's film with a kid, and you're like, yeah, this is what it's for.
And I think they were good. My issues with Shang-Chi and Black Widow are just the issues I have with every Marvel film. Although some films some films on this list definitely, I think they're hindered or dragged down by those Marvel issues more than others. For me personally, obviously, I know we have some stuff that we were going to disagree on.
We're definitely going to disagree. I already disagree with those two.
But they're not bad films.
They're not bad. I'm not saying that they're bad. For me, I think they're higher.
Okay. Which one would you rate higher? Which one did you rate higher, or do I need to ask?
I'll say it now, just in case we have to cut in the future. But Shang-Chi
is higher than Black Widow.
Yeah,
yeah. I would. Well, that's how I did it too.
Yeah, and I think.
Yeah, we can't edit this out.
I know,
what's going on?
I think that I'm stalling because my brain just went.
Are
blank.
you Jeffrey Winger stalling?
No, I'm not.
Oh, stalling.
I got it. Okay, so next for me is going to be, let's say, Last Duel.
This is in movies you enjoyed.
Yes, enjoyed, just weren't like my favorites.
But I'm actually interested by that because we both agreed it was solid.
It's solid. So here's what I was gonna say that I blanked on just now.
Yeah,
was the fact that a lot of these for me came down to rewatchability.
Yes.
How much do I want to rewatch? How much did I enjoy them originally? Paired with how much do I rewatch them?
You don't count these as bad movies?
No. These movies are
same.
they're good movies. They're just ones that I'm not necessarily planning on seeing again.
Well, yeah, a movie that shows a rape scene twice.
Yeah, exactly.
More or
Like,
less,
I'm
is
like,
the same rape scene too.
yeah, so it's like I'm not going to really be rewatching that.
No.
But it's like with all of these, it's not anything that I'm opposed to watching again. So all of these in my list are my list of 3. This is my 3 area.
Oh, okay. So like they're not bad, but they're not.
Yeah,
You're not gonna like put them in the player again.
Yeah. So Malignant was a 3 even, and Last Duel was 3.2. Should I just go with all my 3 2s real quick?
Yeah, do it.
Don't Breathe 2, Venom,
Yeah, we did. Watch.
and then Dune was also.
Oh, Don't Breathe 2 was. You enjoyed that?
It was a fun little horror movie.
Yeah. Because it ends up. I think that one ended up in my movies I didn't enjoy. It's weird because a lot of some of these movies, specifically in the I didn't enjoy category, started off okay in one way or another, but then just kind of like there was something about it that left a sour taste in my mouth that I was like, meh.
Yeah.
Don't breathe.
Because you didn't want them to be redemptive to the main guy, right?
But they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
I think it was just like by the end, I was kind of like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. The first one was so like compact and tight and just well done, and then by the end of Don't Breathe 2, I just was kind of like exhausted, but not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was ready for it to end at that point.
That's fair. I think just as far as like just a good like kind of slasher suspense horror movie, I was like down for it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. But that's the difference between like movies I enjoyed, movies I didn't enjoy. Didn't hate any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just more indifferent.
Yeah.
Movies I didn't enjoy is like the movies.
It's the ones that it's like I watched them once, I didn't hate it. I wouldn't watch it again by my choice, but if it was on at a party, I'd watch it.
Oh, okay.
And possibly enjoy it. For me,
I guess movies I enjoyed are ones that I liked. I probably would rewatch them more or less. Versus movies I didn't enjoy, didn't hate them. Don't really need to rewatch them.
Yeah, that's more where I'm at with my 3 movies.
Oh, okay. Well, then for in my category, movies that I enjoyed, I might watch them again. We've got Godzilla versus Kong.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun theater experience. Now,
Yeah.
if someone was like, let's see that again in theaters, I'd probably be like, well, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So we have that one. Actually, a lot of these are the Warner Brothers ones. In the Heights.
In the Heights.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'm not rushing to see it again, but it's there. The Suicide Squad.
That was a great one.
I did. You know what? That's one that I was actually surprised when I was putting this list together. I expected it to be kind of in the like my love category.
In the Heights? Yeah.
Both In the Heights and the Suicide Squad. I was
Suicide
expecting them to
Squad.
be
That's what we were on.
kind of higher up.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I was just I just couldn't bring myself. I was like,
I was very surprised when I was making my list at how many movies I didn't love this year. Because I was like, I felt like I liked a lot of movies. And then when I was thinking about it, I was like, but how much do I actually like these movies?
Well, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's because we had a lot of fun in theaters this year.
Yeah.
We like, you, me, we saw a lot of movies on our own.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of last minute, it was like, oh, let's go do something.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of movies with our friends and like these big events, like, oh my God, this is going to be. So I feel like we had a lot of fun, anticipation,
Yeah,
like
we
drinks
were
before the movies.
Back from like a year of not being able to go to the movies.
So we had a good ass time in the theaters.
Yeah.
But when I was looking through the list, I went, oh, like
These
I'm
movies
not
are trash.
Maybe not trash, but I'm not going to rewatch
them.
them.
They're really good. They're just
like Black Widow. I was so excited for that, and it was an enjoyable film. Like, and I had a good ass time in the theaters. Like I sat there, I loved it. I was like, this is a lot of fun. Had some issues where I was like, what the fuck is that? Taskmaster, like all of those things. Like there was some dumb stuff, but ultimately I had a great time.
Yeah.
But then when I left, I'm like, I'm never gonna watch that again.
I'll watch it again. I love the Marvel films. You're kind of over them and kind of over the Marvel format in general, but
Yeah.
I still love Marvel. I love that I know what to expect when I go in and that I'm going to. Yeah, I enjoy them. I know it's always going to be a good movie experience for me. So I really did like Black Widow a lot.
That's good.
And I would rewatch it.
Yeah. All right. We continue.
Continuing. My 3.5s were.
This is gonna be confusing, by the way, for people listening, because we have two totally different.
I know
rating
two
systems.
I'm so sorry. We're all it's in the 3s for me. Okay. It's The Conjuring 3, which I haven't seen the first two, but The Conjuring 3 had just such like it was scary, but it wasn't too scary, and it had like a nice little sunny, happy ending, and I was like, that's cute. Like,
Really?
that's nice. Yeah.
Oh,
I watched
wow.
the first one over Christmas break, and I was like, that's fucking terrifying. The third one had nothing on the first one. A Quiet Place 2 was in my nice, but didn't blow me away. It was really just one again. And then He's All That, which was like a fun watch, but I'm not going to watch that again.
Okay, you just said right before He's All That was
Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place 2. Where did that end up on my list? Did I forget?
Is it on your list?
Oh, I might have forgotten to put it down. I wrote it because I wrote this list by hand at first.
Oh, and then you had
hold on.
Transfer it.
Yeah, I got to transfer that.
Wow, that's why you don't write things down like a caveman. You got to use your phone like an adult.
Ba, 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 ba.
So are you rating it now, or what are you? You got to keep the audience engaged.
Well, yeah, I'm putting it. I'm just.
You can't just quietly do things.
I can't quietly put
A Quiet Place. No, you got to do it loud.
All right. Well, now I kind of want to look at my book to make sure I didn't forget anything else, but we're good. So now we're still in movies I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
We're higher up in my list now.
Mm-hmm. Same.
We had Judas and the Black Messiah, which I doubt you watched.
I did not see that.
That was it was like the Black Panther story with Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya, and Jesse Plemons, who you like from the he's the white cop from what was that movie? Game Night.
Oh my god!
Yeah, except he plays a bad guy.
Funny.
That was a good one. I think that was a good kind of, it wasn't amazing, but it was a good rendition and a retelling of history. Fear Street trilogy. I enjoyed those.
They're higher on my
and
list.
these are higher up. These are higher up on my enjoyed. Like, they're not like my favorites. They're not like movies I loved, but like I seriously enjoyed these.
I only have two more on my mildly enjoyed. Then I have all of my I enjoyed them a lot, and then I have my top three.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I separated them more.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
And then we have our shittiest movies of the year, which maybe should we save that for last?
Maybe we should save that for last.
Because I think one of them is mutual, right?
I'm interested. I actually don't know. Oh,
Okay.
see, I don't even have. Oh, I did forget. I forget two of these.
Okay, well, rate them in the moment. I'll give you my last two on the good, but I don't need to watch it again.
Okay.
List. Let's start with Cruella. I have.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I wasn't a huge fan of Cruella. I was kind of let down not let down. I was not let down because I actually didn't have high expectations going in, because I was like, Cruella is a sick, sadistic bitch. And you cannot make a good Cruella movie without her being a sick, sadistic bitch. And they kind of just... They tried to make her a redeeming, like, good character, but also tried to make her bad. And I was like, it's really one or the other. Like, you can't kind of... And when I'm like, when you look at it as it's kind of a separate universe from the actual Cruella, from the actual 101 Dalmatians movie, it's like, okay, as a reimagining of Cruella, that's a fun movie for sure. And I honestly, it probably should be a little bit higher on my list, because looking at it like that, I do like it. But looking at it as this is Cruella, it's not. And so I did not enjoy it the first time. But I did. One thing I did love about the movie, which I say this every time, is the fact that I went with 4 straight men. And at the end of the movie, they were all like, oh my God, in her fashion. Oh, I love this dress and that dress and this look. And I was like, all right, okay, Cruella, if you can get straight men to talk about dresses, I'm in. Like, I love it.
Honestly, yeah, that was probably higher up, not just on my list, but also like my theater experiences, because I feel like that came out.
It was a fun theater experience.
It came out a little bit earlier,
later,
like early summer, not exactly summer, not like the beginning, and I felt like it was a nice kickoff because we got a group of people there, like a bigger group than we had been getting. Like my sister even came.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a lot. We saw that at the AMC at City Walk.
I feel like, and I haven't, like, everybody loved it. Like, and I don't think
you were the only one who didn't like it.
I don't think I've met anyone that was that didn't like it that much. So
that was honestly, that's
I'm
a strange.
wrong.
I don't think I've
it.
ever seen a movie with you where you were the only one who didn't like it.
Especially when it's
You're pretty
about
forgiving.
like a bad bitch.
Yeah, that shocked me.
And then my last one is Dune.
So this is your highest form of indifference. Like,
so this one, Dune had just a flat 3 with a question mark, because again, I got really not again for the first time again for you, Rizzo. I was incredibly bored in the theaters. I felt like it went way too long, and it just kind of yeah. But like also, I felt like they spent a lot of time building things that like I was like, I get it, move on. But I also want to give them the grace to see the rest of it. Because if I like the movie by itself, no, like I didn't love it,
right.
But if it becomes part of like a really epic trilogy,
that's true.
Where I really love the second and third, like I'm pretty sure I will be able to really enjoy the first one too.
I did that once. It was called The Hobbit and The Hobbit 2, and then by the time we got to The Hobbit 3, I said, fuck this series. I can't believe you got... Because honestly, same. The Hobbit got me the exact same way. I remember walking out of that being like, no. But then my sister and I enjoyed The Hobbit 2, and we were like, oh, okay, this is fun. Maybe. And then I saw The Hobbit 3, and I was like, no, that did not need to be 3 goddamn movies. Get the fuck out of here.
Funny.
And then it like, I don't want to rewatch them at all. So it's like, I'm not giving Dune that. That was a simple story. You know what? We'll get there later. We'll get later because that's on one of my lists.
That's funny. I think that I liked The Hobbit just for Smaug. I thought he was so cool, and his voice was so unsettling to me.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah, like it literally made me uncomfortable.
Well, the second one still is my favorite. That was the one I saw with my sister. Anyway, that's not in this year.
It's not 2021.
What are we doing, Benji?
We're moving on. That was like 1992.
Okay,
right?
so I'll rapid fire these off. These are the last 3, and I kind of was counting from my like least
to best.
Enjoy to best.
I did the same.
So these are like the top 3 of my. I enjoyed them. For those following along, we're like, the fuck is this system? Like, what? I don't get this.
We're trying to explain the system as we go because we're really putting it together. We're trying to meld
my system... No. Yeah, we're melding them because my system makes sense.
My system makes sense.
Yeah, no.
It's just like putting them together is hard.
So, top 3, Army of Thieves, which was the Netflix prequel. And let's see, Army of Thieves. Let's see if I can pronounce this guy's
prequel
name.
To Army of the Dead.
So it's the prequel to Army of the Dead. I still haven't watched Army of the Dead yet. I think it's Matthias Schweighöfer.
Okay.
Matthias Schweighöfer. So the character that it's based off, he ended up what is that called?
Volunteered.
Not volunteered. He put his name in the ring essentially.
Okay.
For like, I want to direct this. He
volunteered as tribute.
Not.
Yes.
And so he took this character that he did in Zack Snyder's film, and then he ended up directing the prequel film, which I found very enjoyable. It's kind of a small, quaint, like the zombie stuff is on the outside. It's literally like, hey, the world's distracted with zombies. We should pull off this heist.
Oh, fun.
It's low stakes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the issues I still have with Netflix films where they kind of feel like the world doesn't feel as full as like it does with like a feature film.
Yeah. But it's zombies, so it's okay.
It was very enjoyable. Like, it was one of those movies where... And the trailer was probably my favorite thing I'd ever seen last year.
Oh.
But there was a charm about it. Like, I think Matthias... I'm probably butchering his name. Yeah. But I think he did a really good job of, like, making this likable, goofy character who still was passionate and was, like, an outsider. And kind of watching him succeed. Like, the basic gist is he's a master code... safe cracker in training. He's
training.
Well, like he does YouTube videos on it, but he's never done it in person. And there's like this legend of these 3 very like intricately made safes that have to be and like they decide we're gonna crack them in succession. So there's no world-ending stakes here. It's literally just
they just want to get into.
We're doing it to do it, and I love the Ocean's films. I love like just kind of charming. Hey, we're just gonna pull off this heist type movie.
Yeah,
it was enjoyable.
Just guys,
I left it, and the score by Hans Zimmer was. Oh, so
you
good.
Gotta set that score right. Call it Hans Zimmer.
Do it.
I think that that's from an Iggy song. Yeah.
Were you going to say anything? Because I have 2 more.
I was going to say something, but I don't remember, so go ahead.
Second 2, we just watched it last night. I would say Don't Look Up. It was a very enjoyable film. I think it was well done. And then number 1, which is like, I think it was really good. I know that there's issues with it. I definitely kind of want to watch it again. I was also high when I watched it, so I think it hit me a lot harder than it probably hit other critics. But I liked Candyman.
Oh.
Is that on your list?
You liked Candy? No, I'm just kidding. I enjoyed it. It's a little higher for me.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually shocked. Honestly, I almost put it higher because I think the mood, the atmosphere of that film was just phenomenal.
It's perfect. Yeah, I think that was my main thing, was kind of everything. Even if the story wasn't exactly perfect or it didn't exactly track for me in all areas, I think overall the experience of the movie and the mood and what they were trying to do, I understood and I enjoyed. Yeah. And like any kind of like, not that it's kitschy because it was really good, but like any sort of good like kind of horror movie that I can watch that gives me some good thrills but also isn't going to ruin my life.
You're not going to be crying at home.
But I can watch it with people and enjoy it. Like it does well for me, and I can put it on the list.
Yeah, no, I think the atmosphere, and that was Nia DaCosta. She was I think the first black female director to ever have a #1 movie at the box office.
Oh.
And that was the film.
Babe.
And she's directing the Marvels, which I would be excited for if, Marvel films were actually
I'm excited.
films by their directors.
I'm excited for all of them. They just have to, they just got to not disappoint me. And they haven't really so far.
Wait, last thing
I was going to say Army of Thieves is one that I just added to my
have to watch.
Yeah. I saw it when I was going through the list of 2021 movies, and I was like, meh, but you just sold it. So good job.
Think it was a cute film. And Candyman, honestly, probably should have been higher up. The score was beautiful too. The shadow puppets. Yeah. The way they told the past. Honestly, I can't even remember what I disconnected with. I think it was just some story beats that like
the being black thing, because you're not.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I was racist.
No,
there fuck.
You go. I know.
I was wondering what it was.
I know. Yeah, that happens.
Your
last one?
No, that was it. That was my whole list of movies I enjoyed.
I thought you had one more.
No, that was Candyman was #1.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, it was the most enjoyable of the films I enjoyed. I didn't love it, but I really, really liked it. Like it just was just shy of being I loved.
No, yeah. So my little brain shutting down there. So I was just looking at my next set of lists, which is my 4s, and a 4 even is Candyman. So we were basically right in the same spot.
So what's 4s? Are these films that you
like that I really enjoyed? I would watch them again. So
I don't have a category for that. I didn't realize what we were doing. I would have started off with that one, because then I have the films that I didn't enjoy.
Wait, what are we doing?
Well, I just did films that I enjoyed. And then I have films we didn't enjoy. And then we have films I loved.
Why are we doing it like that? I thought we were just going from bottom to top and then going to the ones we hated.
I told you.
Well, we're confused. So which movies did you not like? And then, or should I'll go down my list really quickly.
Go down your list.
Ones that I really enjoyed, because this is my longest set of movies.
Oh, motherfuck. So these are films that you enjoyed really well.
That I really enjoyed a lot. I liked Candyman a lot.
Okay.
I loved Encanto. It was really fun.
Didn't see
I
that.
didn't get to see that one. Ghostbusters was great.
Okay, yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Clifford was a fun one.
It's funny. I kept seeing that pop up on the list, and I almost was like, should I see that? Because you said something. You were about to pass it by, but something I liked, because we saw a lot of films this year. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want to see Clifford. I liked the cartoon, like growing up. I think it was like just shy. Like I think I was just
we were
old enough.
A little bit older, I think.
Yeah,
I was watching it, I think, in middle school.
Yeah,
so I was like 12-ish.
So the trailer for me didn't really hold any nostalgia, and then when you get that out of the way, I was like, it just looks like a typical kids film. I'm not really interested. But you were like, what did you say?
I was just like, well, it's just nice to watch something that's just good. Like it's just like
wholesome.
It's wholesome. It's like nice. It's like it doesn't have to be this dark and brooding, because everything is 2.5 hours long, and it's just so dark right now for like adult movies. Like even the Marvel films that are like brightly colored, at least to me, I think so. It's still just heavy, and I was like, it's just fun to watch something like light with like an easy like moral that's just like, hey, the bad guys get what they get and the good guys win, and they're just everybody learns their lesson in the end and everyone's happy. I was like, yeah.
When you said that, it was like immediately I had no desire to critique it. I just went, oh,
yeah,
that's sweet.
Like, it's just like a simple, like sweet movie, and I was just like, it was just a nice break. I loved Red Notice, which I just saw a few days ago with Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and with Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot or Gadot?
Sure. Continue.
I loved Eternals. I liked that a lot. That one was high on my list.
Interesting.
I saw Respect. That was really good. The Aretha Franklin movie. Free Guy. I enjoyed a lot. Honestly, the only reason probably Free Guy wasn't in my like top list was because he didn't end up with somebody in the end. Because he was like, his entire program was to be in love.
Wow.
And to try to find someone. And then he didn't end up with anyone in the end. And they tried to like just kind of skirt over that, and I was
but see, that was actually, it's funny because that movie ranked lower for me, and that was my favorite part, was that they were kind of ballsy enough to say, hey, you know what, this is not really healthy for this human girl to be pining over an algorithm.
No, but I thought maybe that they would make her an independent program in there for him to be with, because she got to go out into the real world.
That would just be intellectual pimping.
No, but I mean, he could find a different program. It doesn't have to be her.
Oh, you were just mad he was alone, period.
Yeah, I didn't need him to be with her. Oh. I just needed him to be with somebody, which I thought was really shitty.
That was kind of his moral, was that it's fine to be on my own. Like, he was literally fighting his programming to be like, I found love. Like, now, if there was a sequel...
is what set him off of his program.
Right.
That was his whole purpose of life, was he was like, I'm gonna leave everything because love is more important.
Yeah, he grew
and then didn't even get it. So that's really disappointing to me.
That's how films work. You set up what they think they need, or what they want, and then you give them what they need.
Okay.
He needed to have.
Well, when God says that to you and you don't end up with anyone in the end of your life, you're going to be like, thanks, God. I really needed to be alone.
I'm so glad my life was a movie with an arc. Continue.
Running through Suicide Squad, I liked a lot.
So that rated up. That was higher.
Green Knight was up there for me. I feel like technically it's like a 5. It's a beautiful movie. It is long and heavy and dark. So
you're talking about The Green Knight?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I will talk about it.
Jungle Cruise. I
Those are fireworks.
Shooting fireworks.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. I was originally not super excited about Jungle Cruise, but I knew I was going to see it, and I knew.
Do you think you would have liked it had you seen it as soon as it came out?
No, because I didn't dislike it. I liked Jungle Cruise.
Right.
So the thing is, with any Disney movie, I usually understand that even if I'm not immediately appealed by the preview for it, like if I'm not like, oh, I'm really excited to see that, I know that when I watch it I will enjoy it more than I expect. So with Jungle Cruise, it was that, like, I enjoyed it more than I expected, but I enjoyed it a little bit more than the more that I expected to enjoy it, you know?
Interesting.
And that I was like, oh, like, I really enjoyed that.
So surprised that Jungle Cruise rated higher for you than Cruella.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just from a production
Jungle Cruise had a gay character, so
Cruella had a gay character,
but Jungle Cruises was a little bit more gay and a little bit more of an integral part of the story.
That's true.
A little bit more gay, I'm gonna say, because he still never said I'm gay.
He said, what did he say?
But Eternals had a gay character, which is why it's 1 point over this. He was married with a kid, and they kissed.
I was like, holy shit.
So
that actually happened.
And he was a black gay man. So diversity. Space Jam, Black Widow, I said was higher. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, I thought was funny. In the Heights, No Way Home, Don't Look Up. I liked that one a lot. I told you in the car, I thought Don't Look Up was a good, what's his name?
Oh, Gary Marshall film?
Yeah, it's like a Gary Marshall film where it was like, This Is the End, like end of the world film meets like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, like film where we just get a bunch of big names in a movie just doing stuff and it's fun, but then there's a moral at the end.
Yeah. Well,
enjoyed that.
I would say I only just watched it last night before recording it, so maybe if I would stew on it, but Don't Look Up definitely left kind of like
it hurts you.
It left a residue that was like, that's good. Like that's not a mark. That's a mark for it, not against it. So.
No, it hits you hard, which is for the movie.
Well, don't rush through these. Like, I know we got our wires mixed, but continue. Say it slower.
West
Wait, what's West Side Story rate for you?
Story 4.6.
And from on a scale of what to what?
1 to 5.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like up there. It's like a lot of these. So
I should have done what you did because
I was like, I'm reading them just in order that I have them, but it's not in order of where I see these.
I think because it's like, because for me, like even when I was putting these together, I put them in very emotional categories. None of them are really being reviewed necessarily by.
Well, this is
good. This is bad.
This is all. The way I'm rating them is like it's what are they to me?
Right.
I'm not rating them technically. I'm just rating them by when I see them. What does my brain say?
Yeah.
Is my brain like
This is why we don't do these type of lists all that often, y'all, because it's so like we always end up kind of like they never line up, so we end up either like repeat talking or like revealing each other's like best or worst.
Well, yeah, because like you said a couple of mine that were in the top in my top 3.
I didn't even get to the ones I hate yet.
I have 2 on my quote unquote hate because I didn't have any that I hated. I just had 2 that I strongly dislike, or 3, I think. West Side Story, I liked a lot. I didn't like it. There were parts of it that I didn't think hit as strongly as the original, which is why I docked her a few points. But I did overall. It was great.
Oh, my parents loved it. We saw it for Christmas, and they were like, my mom actually, which I was surprised. My mom's Puerto Rican, and she's like old, like I was gonna say old school, and then I just ended up saying old. Well, my mom's like 70. She saw the original one in theaters on Christmas Day as a kid. So it's like, if anyone was going to come in with nothing can be better than the original, it could have been my mom. She was weeping. Yeah. My God, my dad was weeping. I was like, oh my God, like we're all just crying up here. I mean, I just had allergies, so I was like, I'm crying regardless. But
yeah, I was like, it was a beautiful movie. It was done really well. There was just like 2 or 3 parts that I just felt hit stronger in the original.
Yeah, I get that.
Like that was my personal thought. House of Gucci, loved 4.9. Yes. But I think that's all just me liking Gaga. Like, so
that's nothing. There's nothing wrong. There's films on my list where I'm like, why did you like it? Because
she was fantastic. Obviously, I don't care about the accent, you guys. I think the accent was strong enough.
I listened to the original footage
out of it.
I listened to the footage of her.
It was close enough.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
For me personally, I know everybody else hated it. Mortal Kombat, I liked a lot. I played the game. I grew up with the original movie. I enjoyed.
Where are we
Mortal
on
Kombat.
this list of yours? You've been talking for a nice hot second there.
Well, I was just running.
I know. Let me see.
We're done.
That's it.
I had one.
So
more.
Mortal Kombat was on your highest of.
No, they weren't in order.
Oh,
they're out of order.
You're doing this really strange, Benjamin.
I was just trying to get through it for y'all.
Well, I didn't want. What?
This is what you did.
Oh my God.
Oh, and then one of them that I had was it's lower on the list of likes, but Single All the Way, the gay Christmas movie. I know y'all wanted us to watch it for a reaction, but we didn't end up getting around.
Why
did
I just fall asleep while you were watching that?
You weren't. Oh no, we watched it when we were all hanging out for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right?
Seemed nice, but I think I was just half asleep.
I fell asleep. I watched that movie like 4 times because I watched it. No, well, I tried to watch it 4 times. So I watched it twice, trying to get through it. Twice I put it on before bed.
Okay.
Just because I was like, oh, I'll watch a little bit of this. And then I fell asleep in like the first 10 to 15 minutes. And so then we watched it when we were all hanging out for Christmas. And we made it to like the last like 5 to 10 minutes of the movie. Like literally when they got together, they had their final kiss. Like got together and they were confessing their love for each other. Huh?
I said spoilers.
I mean, it's
confessing their love for each other.
They were confessing their love. I was passing out, and then I woke up and they were kissing. I was like, "Whoa, I missed something." So I went back and then fell asleep again. And then I needed to go back and watch that. So 4 times. But anyways, that's all the ones I really liked.
Single all the way. All right. Well, on the opposite end, these are movies that you know what? I'll start with this. Movies I enjoyed, because I just gave you the movies that I enjoyed. They're not movies I loved. Not movies I hated. They're movies I enjoyed. That was what I just gave you.
That was what my first.
That's what yours was. Yeah, we kind of went in the opposite direction, but well, I guess because my movies I loved is longer than yours, so maybe
you don't
more
know
or less
how long my movies is.
Okay, these are movies that I enjoyed that were bad. From least enjoyed to most enjoyed. At the bottom is Hitman's Bodyguard's wife, or Hitman's wife's bodyguard, whatever the hell. I was high when I watched that, so it was a lot more enjoyable than it probably is.
You were laughing very hard.
I was laughing so hard. Oh my God.
Yep.
It was terrible. Like, I'm never gonna watch that movie again. Like the movies I mentioned before this, I definitely watch them again.
Yeah.
This one, never.
A lot of the movies in mine are like movies in my are movies that I like that are technically bad, but personally, if I enjoy it, it's not bad. So,
but what I'm saying is like they're bad even to me. Like,
yeah,
I enjoyed it because I'll enjoy a movie that's bad and I don't think it's bad. I think it's good.
Okay.
But this category specifically is
one
that was
you
a bad movie, but I had a good ass time watching it.
Okay, I see.
After that was Fast 9. Terrible. God, but I was also, again, high.
Glad that I missed
when
that
I watched that. So you know what? It was fantastic.
So get high if you want to watch a bad movie. That's the moral.
Venom, Let There Be Blood. Yeah, that one was like
Carnage.
terrible.
Yeah.
It was, when I say Let There Be Blood, Let There Be Carnage. Space Jam: A New Legacy. Once again, the same family I saw Shang-Chi with. We actually went and saw Space Jam with them, and it was like, that was fun. I had a good time. If you really compare it, it feels very soulless and very kind of like corporate.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the goddamn theme song. What the actual hell?
Yeah.
How do you have Space Jam
and not have Space Jam?
It's the literal theme song. Everybody get up. It's time to slam now.
We got a real jam going on.
Are you kidding me? That pissed me off. Anyway, Mortal Kombat. I mean, terrible, but great. I loved it.
It wasn't terrible.
I didn't know how to.
It was a cheesy Mortal Kombat movie. Like it's a video game movie. It's not gonna.
This
be a
honestly should have been in
masterpiece.
movies I enjoyed, but I put in movies I enjoyed that were bad because it was like, I don't see myself watching again.
I don't see you watching it again.
But I had a blast watching it with you.
That was definitely a fun theater.
That was so
experience.
much fun.
Well, I remember at the first like fatality when like they chopped off the person's head and like, the blood went everywhere and you were like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, that's Mortal Kombat.
Stupid. And then number one was like movie. I enjoyed it. Wasn't good. Not gonna watch again. I liked Snake Eyes. I thought it was solid.
What's that?
Snake Eyes.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
It's pretty forgettable.
Yeah. Well, so what was funny was I saw the preview for that, and was really excited about it because there hadn't been like a kind of martial arts movie in a very long time, and I grew up with those because my dad is a karate martial artist, and he just loves any fighting movie. So I grew up with a lot of that stuff, and I hadn't seen one in forever, and I was like, oh, Snake Eyes, that looks like really cool. Like I'm super excited to see it. And then like a few days later I saw the preview for Shang-Chi, and I was like, that looks good. So I ended up seeing Snake Eye, and I was like, I was less excited to see it. Still ended up enjoying it. Yeah. Which I don't know why it's not on my list. Still ended up enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
But Shang-Chi, I was right that I was like, I liked it so much better. And I remember you weren't excited for Shang-Chi, and I was like, nah, man, it's going to be good. And I was right.
I just wasn't excited because it had that Marvel slapped on the logo.
Card.
Punch your card. Okay, so which direction do we go? Because I could either go now movies I didn't enjoy, which is controversial.
Okay.
Or because you already kind of went to the top. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll do movies I didn't enjoy. They're not movies I hated.
Okay.
So do you have a list that kind of...
I'll wait for movies I hated to do my two that I didn't like.
You only had two?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of movies this year.
I'm not a hateful movie person.
All right, well, we'll talk about these. We don't have to... This is not the Rizzo goes through everything.
Yeah.
All right, so movies I didn't enjoy. And I guess this order, I should have done it the way you did it because it's like... But essentially, I'm going to say them in order where it's like, that was good, didn't enjoy it, to like, ugh... I didn't enjoy it. I feel really bad for this one.
What?
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh.
It was that animated one. I fell asleep through it. Like, it was good.
But weren't you high?
I might have been.
So that's not even their fault.
Well,
that was a cute movie.
It was cute, but it's like, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I'm also really, I feel very prudish when it comes to animated. Not prudish, like... Snobby when it comes to... I'm basically like, I like Pixar films... And that's pretty much it. Like I like the way they specifically handle comedy with drama and humor, and I feel like their humor always feels specific to their world. And I feel like pretty much almost any other animated film, like the humor kind of veers very wildly. I was surprised I didn't like this one because I like the team that produced it. They're the same guys that did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I didn't really love that movie.
I think Mitchell's versus the Machines kind of like, I liked what they were saying like emotionally, but I don't know. I just found myself kind of like, I didn't care about the villains per se, and it seemed very I didn't care. I guess I just is like literally I didn't care.
I liked it, and I feel like there was a few moments, because did you ever rewatch it?
No.
Yeah, I feel like when I was watching it, there was a few moments where I was like, Rizzo would enjoy that part.
Probably.
Like, there was like a few like moments where I was like,
but the thing
good.
is, I can't bring myself to want to rewatch it.
I wouldn't make you rewatch it because I honestly can't remember the parts that made me think that, but I remember thinking like you should watch it because there were parts that you would specifically that would hit home for you, but. You know, you fell asleep on it, and that was your choice.
But once again, this is a category of didn't enjoy. It's not hate. I don't think it's a bad movie. Just didn't enjoy it. And this next one comes with a heavy asterisk.
Oh, no. What is it?
Because it's not bad at all. And in fact, I wish if I understood it, I would have loved it.
What?
The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Okay, well, see, I could help you with that, but you went and saw it without me.
Oh, well, someone decided to fly to Texas.
Another debate that we should have. I told you I wanted to see that, you jerk.
Look, it was last minute, and I'll see it again.
Yeah, last minute, and you say, hey, we already saw a movie together yesterday. I'm saving that for my best friend.
It was not
Let's go see one of the other 20 movies in theaters.
Oh, my God.
That's how you maintain a friendship, Popstars. Go ahead.
Well, Tragedy of Macbeth, the tragedy was Rizzo doesn't understand Macbeth. It was a very beautiful film. I believe it was well acted. I actually personally hate Shakespearean acting. It's literally...
Why did you go?
I thought... I didn't realize it was going to be literally verbatim exactly what you would see on stage, just with like... I thought it would be
a fair guess.
More or less, because I saw the Michael Fassbender Macbeth, and they were still talking in the language, but it still was like film version of it. This was like, I felt like I was actually there at the play with the camera just right on their faces.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what they were going.
And that's why it's like asterisk, not a bad movie. I just hated it because I didn't understand a goddamn thing that was happening.
Well, I'm still excited to see it.
And you should be.
I am.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not trying to dissuade. If you like Shakespeare, if you can understand Shakespeare.
You don't have to understand Shakespeare to like him.
No.
You don't have to.
I'm not.
But if you do,
I cannot stress it.
That.
It's literally like Spanish and Japanese and whatever other language you don't understand melded into one. And I sat there like I get it. I more or less get, because I know the story of Macbeth, but like, why the fuck are you saying so many goddamn words to say one emotion?
Because
it's too much for me. That's why I like movies, not plays.
It's artistic. That's the way. That's the whole thing about Shakespearean writing is it's written to be artistic. They're not just saying what they think as someone would, even in that time. Like people obviously didn't talk like that, but it's an artistic expression. It's almost like a musical, but they have very flowery, beautiful ways to say one small idea or one thought.
I hate it.
Personally, that's for you. Yes, okay.
Hate it.
Go ahead.
I literally was angry, and I felt like I was like some like person who was being insulted politically, because I was sitting there just like, you're telling me what I don't understand and I don't get, and I was like, Rizzo, why are you so angry? Like,
because I don't understand. I feel dumb. Can I tell you that makes me very happy to hear that. Because you got what you get for going to see that without me. God, because I could have told you.
I know it was happening, but you weren't going to tell me.
No, I could have
whispering in my ears.
I could have told you. Yeah, you don't want me whispering sweet nothings.
I don't want you.
No, I was going to say
subtitles. I could have
told
screen.
you like, hey, I know you don't necessarily follow storylines like this, and you don't really like when people are very like wordy.
I would still seen it because it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was visually striking. I love Denzel Washington.
Well, then at least you would have been angry with your friend and not some rando friend. Yeah, y'all heard me.
Wow. Next up, didn't enjoy this less because I didn't like Free Guy.
Oh.
I thought Free Guy was essentially a riff of the Lego Movie and a lesser version of it.
I mean, I can see where it's very similar to the Lego Movie, but at least in the Lego Movie, he got his girl, you know?
Okay, cool. I think Free Guy was just, and I think because a lot of these films too, like I was more or less indifferent to it. Like I didn't leave the theater like I hated that experience.
Yeah.
But what really gets me is when I hear people afterwards being like, "Oh my God, this was like an amazing movie. Oh, it was so original." I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That was like Ryan Reynolds riffing. It was visually all over the place. Like I get what they were trying to do, but like my ADHD brain was like, that's way too many colors. It just looks like way too overly CGI'd.
No,
like,
it was beautiful. It was a video game.
I know, but it wasn't like it was like this very I don't know how to describe it, but just like everything was thrown at the screen. Like it didn't feel cohesive as a film, whether in its visual language, in its storytelling, or in its and I also, this is more of a me thing, I'm not really big on Avatar type characters when it's like it's not really them experiencing it. It's like a mechanic.
I see. When it's like virtual reality, but you have the person in virtual reality experiencing things as if it was real life, and you're like, but they're not actually experiencing
like Ready Player One was different because they had those machine suits that they were in. So like if a character in the world felt pain,
they would more or less
felt it. But even that was like straining because it's like I don't like watching characters that are like, oh, I'm stressed out, I'm freaking out, and it's like you're sitting in your living room with glasses, or it's like
you can literally just take.
There's no drama there to me. Like obviously it's different for Ryan Reynolds' character or guy, but like for her, I was like, I don't really care. Like she's literally just on her phone.
Yeah.
So it's like I already have a disconnect there as it was, and then it felt so like. And then they threw in like they like with the Marvel route. They're like, oh look, all these Easter eggs. You think those are cool, right? I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, it was just and I hated the villains. I liked Taika Waititi, but that goddamn like, oh, I'm so cool. Like I'm supposed to be the villain. I'm a threat. I'm like, you're not like threatening anyone.
Oh no,
would you threaten kids?
I didn't like him that much at all.
If you can find me a kid who is terrified of Taika Waititi's like, I know not every villain has to be scary. I'm not saying
he wasn't a good like funny villain, because there are villains that are kind of comedic, but they're still like terrifying. They're still like I wouldn't cross them, and he just seemed very like
even like animated films. Like I don't know. Oh, you've never seen this, but Ratigan from like Great Mouse Detective. I don't know why he's a very blustering kind of like I'm more than who I am type character, and it's like that's what I would imagine. That balance of like someone who's funny, you laugh at them until they're kind of scary,
but then also he's like 30 feet tall. Like he's huge.
Ratigan?
Yeah.
The world's greatest rat.
Right? He's
You've
like
never
huge,
watched this.
Right?
No, he's huge to the mice, but not in real life.
Obviously not in real life.
So Free Guy. All right, the next two I'll breeze through. The Kingsman, it's about I was about as indifferent to it as
at some point I'll watch it, but I got bored by it. Just the trailer.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt.
They played it way too much.
Don't Breathe 2, like I said, I was just like, what? Okay. Finch. It was the post-apocalyptic robot movie with Tom Hanks.
Okay.
We couldn't even finish it. God, that was such a boring movie.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It was well done, but Lord Almighty, it was 2 hours and it felt like 4.
Yeah.
I did not like A Quiet Place 2. I didn't hate it because it still was well done.
Well, yeah, it was just it was more of the same, but not
even as good.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like the ending was like, when I realized I didn't like it more than just being indifferent to it was when the son, because the script needed drama, decided to leave
for no reason.
Reason.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing motivating him to get out of that safe place.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
and then I was annoyed that it kind of did all that and it kind of ended in the same place where like the daughter, they had just kind of found a way to do the radio signal. Kill the thing, where it was like, okay, so it's like it's a slightly expanded version, but it's still not, we still haven't gotten rid of them. Like we kind of thought that where it left off before, like, okay, well now we can tell people how to do it and now it's taken care of more or less. We'll figure it out. And now it's like, oh, well now we're taking another step to kind of get where we thought we were.
And also it's a crime to have Jimon Hutsu in your film and then literally kill him off like 2 or 3 scenes later. Spoiler alert. But Cillian Murphy was actually really good in it. Like he was a solid choice, especially my issue with it had nothing to do with like the direction I thought they were going in terms of like the cast and all that. Like it could have easily been a film where it's like, oh, I miss John Krasinski. This one's not as good.
Yeah.
I thought they moved on from that very well.
That was
And then introducing this new character who was kind of like almost the opposite of him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great kind of like, if you're going to go a different direction with a sequel after you've killed off like a character that was that strong. That's kind of a good balance. Like he's another character actor. He's someone that people recognize, but they might not, like, they may only know him in one factor.
Yeah.
He's a solid actor, and it's a solid character. I liked him. But by the end, I just was like, okay, that was the first movie, but like without John Krasinski.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So it's like, make a new movie with this new character.
Yeah.
Or give me John Krasinski and the first movie again, and don't make the second movie.
Yeah.
Just make the first movie. Last three. All right. These are like my least didn't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Bordering on hate, but I also I was so indifferent that I just couldn't find myself even hating them. Jungle Book.
That didn't come out this year.
Did I say Jungle Book? I meant Jungle Cruise.
Okay, I was like
Jungle Book. It's so bad.
Like 4 years ago.
Jungle Cruise, and I should have liked it.
Mm-hmm.
My really just rested on the fact that it was like, it felt like it was shot in a soundstage, but not like a cool, fun soundstage from like the 40s and the 50s. It felt like it was just in front of a very CGI. It felt very sterile.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best word I can give for these CGI'd films. It's not that I hate CGI. It's that they end up feeling very sterile. And when you're doing a movie that's about exploring and getting out into the wilderness and like danger and intrigue, and it's like, and it still just feels kind of like clean, like an office building type, like just like I could see the production design, but it just felt so safe.
Yeah. Well, I know that you personally are very, if a movie uses a lot of CGI or uses CGI for an important part of the movie, it kind of just clicks off in your brain where you're like, ugh.
With the environment.
Well, because you very much like practical effects. Like,
well,
to explain it to the pop stars.
It's not just practical effects. It's the environment, the physical touching environment. Like, I don't mind CGI characters. Mm-hmm. I don't like when everything feels CGI.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you like practical, maybe not practical effects is the right thing, but you like practical
environments.
You like things that are actually there.
I like the grit, the dirt, the gross.
Yeah, like in the Pirates movies, because those are his favorite. If you're new, they're his favorite. So if you're wondering what he means by that, that's kind of the comparison.
Well, or even like The Mummy. Like The Mummy,
yeah.
Those films, I mean, I don't want to say that they're not good. They're simple.
Uh-huh.
And that's my favorite genre. Like Jungle Cruise is one of my all-time favorite genres when it comes to like movies. I love adventure films. But it just was like, it was an adventure film in front of a green screen. I was like, I don't care. Like the fun is like from seeing the bad effects, or kind of like, being in that dusty, dirty, gross, grimy environment. So
I enjoyed it. Last two.
Reminiscence.
How long have we been going?
Whatever. They're listening. It is what it is.
Okay.
We're talking about all the films in 2021.
All right.
You really thought we were going to keep it short?
I did not see Reminiscence because I knew it was going to be trash. I knew it was going to be trash. I saw the preview and I was like, you have no reason to exist.
It wasn't even trash because like it was competently made.
Yeah, like I was like, it's a pretty movie, but like
I walked out and went, huh.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what the point was. He was like, what was it? He was like, my wife left me, but I have to go find her.
Yeah, it was bad. She was his wife.
Oh, yeah. He was like, the girl I liked left.
For like a few months.
And now I have to find her. See, I didn't even know that. I just knew it was the girl. His girl left. And he was like, and I have to go through everything, all of this whole movie to find her. And I'm like, bro, she left.
Like, bro, I don't think she likes you,
let
dude.
Her go, dude. Like, what?
Bruh.
Like, send her a text. I was just kind of like, this seems really pointless. I'm not going to waste my
time. The last in my movies I didn't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to hate me for this.
I saw it.
But here's the thing.
I saw it already.
I know.
I reacted. I was like, oh.
Here's the thing. This also has an asterisk on it too, because I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of colored after I left, where I was like, I was starting to get frustrated with the movie,
the praise that it was getting.
It wasn't even just the praise. It was more like the movie itself, I feel, didn't do the best job. And we can honestly let us know if we should have a whole conversation on this, because we could probably talk for hours about this one movie.
Ooh.
It just was not a good script. It had bullet points of a good script, but I don't feel like it was like actually brought together very well.
Okay, what's the movie?
I can already feel the cross being built for me.
It's fine. It was
Spider-Man No Way Home.
There you go. It's like, don't leave him in suspense. Let him know.
Look, you know what? Yes, I pointed at the screen and said, I know those people, and I definitely cried actually a lot during this movie. But like when I left the film, I was like, I didn't really watch a movie. I felt like I watched a YouTube compilation of stuff that was good.
Did
like,
you watch it a second time yet?
I haven't.
I feel like you should.
I would watch it a second time if we were going to do an episode on it. Because
Okay.
I'd be interested in like actually diving into specific plot points. But
Yeah.
there were yes. Did I cry when Andrew Garfield, spoiler alert,
Spoiler.
jumped after Mary Jane?
MJ.
MJ, sorry.
Mary Jane.
Jumped after MJ and redeemed himself. Like, did I cry? Like a bitch. I cried so goddamn hard.
I was laughing.
No, it was so bad
because when she fell and he jumped down to save her, I was like, not him. He's not the one.
That's so bad. Dude, I cried so hard and he was so good in it. And it was good to see all of them. It was like, yeah, this is great. You know what it felt like? Like those Friends episodes or any sitcom episodes where they show clips, the clip episodes.
Ew, no, it was not that bad. It was
okay. Well, I like clip episodes.
I hate clip episodes. I'm like, I'm a fan. I saw this already. I will rewatch it later. Please give me a new episode. I tuned in here for a new episode, and you're gonna show me shit that I've already seen? No. Save that for the bitches who don't watch the show. Well, I get a new episode today. That's what you promised me. We're not going to do clip episodes for you guys. And if we do, it's going to be paired with something new. You're welcome.
Well, maybe it wasn't as bad as a clip episode, but that's what I felt. It was like all the stuff I liked was not really established in this movie. It was all just like, yeah, I remember when Andrew Garfield killed his girlfriend in the other film, and I'm glad that he's happy here. I like that he's neurotic. I like that, honestly, he was my MVP of the entire film. I thought I loved that he was just like the most like whacked out of all the Peter Parkers.
Gosh, yeah.
I thought that was so cute. And I enjoyed the beginning part of it, but it was just like, as the film progressed, I was like, what? This is the way. This is stupid. Doctor Strange, what the fuck are you doing?
There's definitely some stuff you could look back on and be like, why did that have to happen like that?
But wasn't it so cool when Green Goblin returned? Yeah, I mean I know William Dafoe's a great actor. It's so cool. Like, it's great. But also, was it great that it ended with Peter Parker having been forgotten, just like in the now he's just like the original cartoon? Yeah, it took him 3 movies to do what the first movie did so goddamn well. Sure.
I think that's a stupid thing that everybody wants him to be nothing, and I'm like, bro,
I think it's a good thing.
I don't, and I'm also like, but he's
explain to me why he had to. Everyone had to forget him. There's so many better goddamn spells he could have done.
I was like, he was completely forgotten. That puts him behind.
Yeah, it's so
where
stupid.
the normal ones are, and he's an orphan now too. Like, that's rough.
What about when Aunt May said responsibility line? Yeah, Aunt May was basically in the background of the entire film, and then like suddenly she gets smacked with a glider and then goes, by the way, I think it's time to tell you something. Responsibility. Oh, I'm dead. I'm like, okay, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Could rant on that for a while. All right. I guess now I have my movies I hated. That was a movie I was indifferent to.
Was that? Because it seemed like it was like somewhere in between love and hate. Because there was like
we had a great time in theaters.
Yeah, I feel like that movie for you was very much like half of it was love. There was parts that you really enjoyed. Because talking about it, your face lit up a little bit.
With Andrew Garfield,
you were smiling,
and
adorable. Then there was other parts that made you yell. So I think that's
why it firmly fell into a category.
Together.
I was like, I couldn't put it in movies I hated, but I could not put it in movies I enjoyed, because even though I had a good time in the theater experience, like when I think back on it, specifically from a script standpoint, I'm like, that because and I've read articles, they were literally writing it as the film was being filmed.
Oh,
it was not.
Stinks.
They didn't know how they were going to do it.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't have a full script and have it ruined, right?
Well, that's it was like they didn't know if the actual, like, if Andrew and Tobey Maguire were going to sign on. They originally had planned for it to come out after Doctor Strange 2, but then once Doctor Strange 2 went into reshoots and stuff, then they made it go before. So it's literally everything you know about good screenwriting when it comes to like knowing where you're going and where you're ending and making sure everything feels like fully formed as a part of the story. You can't do that when you're mad gabsing a movie. Like, you just
mad-libbing?
Mad Gab. What did I say? Mad Gabs?
Mad
Is that not
Gabs,
the same thing?
Probably.
Mad Lib?
I'm just
Mad-libbing.
Making sure just in case that's
No,
like
if
a
you're,
regional thing.
If you're mad-libbing a movie, it's not going to feel super coherent. It's going to feel like a clip show to me. But whatever. I
I
right,
digress.
Movies you hated.
Hated or the top ones and then hated? I feel like it's fun to yell in the end. What do you want to do first?
I kind of
hate first.
Yeah, let's do hate. Let's get hate out of the way.
So the first one I'm going to say, I think we agree on this, is Matrix 4.
I don't disagree with you. I couldn't bring to put it in my hated.
Well,
it was in my disappointed. I'm not mad with Matrix 4.
I was like, I technically don't have a hated because nothing was a 1. Everything was at least a 2.
Okay.
Which is my, I just didn't like it.
So Matrix 2.
Resurrections I felt like it was pointless. And honestly, we've had this conversation. I felt like the second and third one were pointless. I felt like they were just grander versions of the original movie, which you said, yes, is what you're supposed to do, is make the same story but on a different scale. But it also feels like A Quiet Place 2, where it's like we ran around crazy just to end up in the same freaking spot. And it was like, hey, he's supposed to be the one. We had the first movie where he's the one and he's going to change the Matrix, and he flew away, and we said, and our imaginations got to fly with him and say he's going to change everything and he's going to save humanity. And then it came back and he was like, just kidding, maybe I'm not the one. Maybe we have to have a whole last thing for me to once again fight sentinels and do all this stuff. And then, oh wait, I am the one at the end and I'm going to fly away. I don't think he flew away.
He didn't fly. He died. he got drug away.
The second one.
The second one?
The second one.
Oh.
I'd say the second one, same thing happened, and then we went back, and then the third one we came back, and it was the whole thing again, where he was like, am I the one? Am I not? Well, I'm going to save the day, and then I'm going to fly away, and I die. And then he died, and it was really annoying. But then they came back on the fourth one, and they were like, guess what? Oh, I guess spoilers. Guess what? He's not dead. We know that.
Come on, y'all. Watch the trailers. It's not like you even saw the movie.
But then he was like, am I the one? And he was like, maybe not. And then he was like, oh, wait, yes, I am.
Keanu Reeves impression is uncanny.
And then he flew away.
Yeah.
So, it was just the same goddamn movie again. And the fight scenes weren't as good. So why were we there? So why are we here?
Fight scenes were terrible. It's literally, that was in my own category of, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And it's like, I feel like that's worse.
Parent them. Exactly. It is worse a lot of times. Like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I expected so much more from you.
Exactly. And there was good stuff about it. Like, Keanu Reeves, I forget, because he's not the, oh God. Keanu Reeves is not that amazing of an actor.
Uh-huh.
But he does hit, like, especially kind of like the am I crazy, like, portion of the film
really well.
There was something like genuinely tender about watching his like this hangdog face of like, I can't handle this. And I was like, I actually buy that. Like, you can tell. I mean, that's the thing about Keanu Reeves. He comes with a whole history of like his own sadness in past life.
Oh,
and it
I didn't
reads.
know that.
It's not like watching. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm watching like actors where they're like, I'm sad. I'm like, okay, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why don't you date another model?
Yeah. Okay. But like Keanu Reeves, like he grew up, he was a good looking guy. He still is a good looking guy, but it's like, you could see where he could easily be in that category of like, I'm an actor trying to be sad. But it's like, I don't know, like it actually, you see like this kind of genuine like weight on him.
But I'm not saying he's a bad actor.
I wasn't saying he was either. I wasn't saying you were. I was saying that was a good thing about it.
Yes, there's good parts of the movie. Like, I just, in general, I personally felt like the movie did not need to be made. Like, and I felt it from the beginning when people were like, oh, were you so disappointed? And I was like, no, because honestly, when I saw the trailer, I was like, why? Why are we like, oh, it's exciting. Matrix 4. I hope that it surprises me and it does something cool and makes me really excited about the series.
Yeah.
Because they killed him in the last one and I hated that. And I was like, hey, this is your chance for redemption. This is your chance for resurrection. And you know what? I mean, yeah, it was, I think, a better ending than the third one. But still, I just kind of felt in general like it just didn't need to be a thing. Like, I was like,
yeah, I get it. No, I don't disagree. What were you gonna say?
Very repetitive and just unnecessary. But that's me being repetitive and unnecessary because I said that like 6 times.
All right, what's your last hate?
Less hate and more just so disappointed.
Oh, God.
And I'm gonna sound like I'm such like I could see it from the trailer. But it was one that I didn't even have high expectations for, but it was just a cheesy musical.
The suspense is killing
that I thought, I was like, okay, This is not going to blow me away. This is not going to be the best thing ever. This
Y'all,
is not,
I don't even know what he's going to say.
This is not going to be my new favorite movie, and I know this, but I do plan. I hope. I think I will enjoy it because I generally enjoy any sort of musical. Camila Cabello, Cinderella.
Oh God, that looks so bad.
I know. I was like, it didn't look fantastic, but I was like, but it's at least like a cheesy, campy, fun musical movie with like good actors in it, good singers. And I was like, this.
Correction. Good actors and James Corden.
There's good actors and good singers. And there's James Corden, who he has a personal vendetta against for some reason. You got to be careful.
I know. I can't wait.
We're getting to the point where somebody might.
Hey, you know what? Pull that clip up, James Corden.
We're not anywhere close to that. But yeah, I was very disappointed by it. I just like, I watched it and I was like, at first I was like, okay, we're building. I feel like I'm liking where we're going. And it's just overall, like, I really didn't like the way they did the music. Like, I didn't feel the characters. Like, and I need. I'm not gonna watch it again, but I would.
That's about the most visceral reaction.
I'm not gonna watch it again. I was like, I should watch it again because like when I had first watched it, I had like a list and I ranted. I was like, oh, and this didn't work and that didn't work. I didn't. Oh my gosh, the main thing was like their music was like. It was like all over the place. Like I felt like they were like between like pop and rock and 80s and current music and past music. And I was just kind of like, Glee does that. Glee does music from everywhere, but somehow they find a way to make it cohesive. And this the movie felt like it was a ragtag, like just all over the place. Let's just throw things together. Nothing really felt like it fully fit. I enjoyed they did the thing where it was like it wasn't Cinderella didn't wait to be saved. She had like a business plan. She was making dresses and she ended up like becoming a businesswoman. And then the prince followed her into her business, like, and traveling the world to do business with her. So I was like, I applaud that. That was awesome. I love that. Yeah. I was just disappointed by everything else. Like, it's like not. So yeah, sorry. But like not sorry because I don't think anybody else really liked it either.
How dare you?
I wanted to. Camila Cabello is very sweet. I met her once.
All right. Well, there are films that I hated.
Okay.
That there are some people who disagree with.
Okay.
But my bottom two, or the top two, I guess. Mm-hmm. I hope no one agrees with.
Top two that you hated the least out of the hate list.
Hated the most. All right. So from least hated to most hated. All right.
Yeah.
Least hated to most hated. Did not like Conjuring 3. I was very angry. I loved the first two movies. Well, that's not even true. I loved the first movie. Second movie was okay. Third movie, I was like, I can't even remember. I borderline on indifference because I can't recall a goddamn thing. But I remember leaving kind of being a little bit more angry than just indifferent.
Well, yeah, because I remember that was on my more or less indifferent list.
Yeah,
where I was like, I hadn't seen the other Conjurings at that point. I just liked that it was a dark movie that actually ended up very positively.
Well, that's the first one. The first one actually has a good positive ending. Mm-hmm. I hated this one.
I was like, I just watched it. But yeah, no, Conjuring 3, I agree. And I think I remember us being annoyed by the villain. That was like
who was the villain?
She was like a necromancer or something.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
can't remember. It was
it was like it was kind of dumb. Go ahead.
Whatever.
I still overall. It was like,
Netflix film, There's Someone Inside Your House.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it.
What is that?
That was the slasher one where the guy knew all the secrets.
The one we watched. That's right.
It was so stupid.
The one where it was a very predictable trope.
It was very predictable. It was very half-cooked. Mm-hmm. It had stuff that could have been going for it. Like, I like the production value and design. Actors, more or less, they could have been good. Like, they weren't bad. My issue wasn't with the actors per se. It was like they were well casted. They didn't really have much to do. Mm-hmm. They were kind of borderline on like high schoolers or 20-year-olds.
Somewhere in there.
But, not horrible. It was again another film I was pretty much indifferent to until the ending with the reveal, and I was like, "Fuck this!" Like, it just was so because like spoiler alert, turns out to just be a spoiled white guy who's like, what does he say? Like, what's his reasoning?
I forget. I think he wanted to like kill his dad and get his inheritance early or something.
He was like, it's hard for rich people.
It was something, yeah. They tried to make like a woke villain because he was like, oh, it's hard for, not that he was woke. It was
no,
like
I get. They were
like
trying
a 2020 version of like a villain.
They were trying to make it be like, oh, we're woke because we're acknowledging this.
That like, oh, it's hard to be like a rich white guy nowadays because everybody hates me and like blah blah blah. And I was just like, shut up.
And on top of that, he did exactly what I hate with those movies, where a character acts one way the entire time, and then just it's like, I'm doing my crazy.
By the way,
now.
I was evil the whole time.
It's like I watched Heath Ledger and the Joker 1,000 times when I was a child, and this is the only way I know how to give psychopath performances. Where it's like, it's just like the sneering and the sniveling. It's like, it's very much like if I saw that, if I was in an acting class in LA and someone brought that out day one, I'd be like, cool. Now give me a new version and don't bring to me the same thing I've seen like 100 times before. It just, anyway. Red Notice. Come on. Like, really?
It was so cute.
It was so bland and boring. And then the ending, which you were shocked by. I was too, but it wasn't like a good shock. It was like
shocked. I was like, oh shit. That guy, spoiler alert, The Rock's a bad guy.
Yes.
But he's a bad guy to the level that The Rock would be a bad guy. He's like a good bad guy.
Yeah,
still, I was like, we don't see that. Like, I enjoyed their dynamic between the three actors. I enjoyed the heisty story. I love Bejeweled Eggs. That was it. That was one. I love a story about stealing Fabergé eggs. You know.
Is there more than one story about stealing Fabergé eggs?
I feel like actually there's a couple now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, like I was like, I don't know. Technically, they weren't Fabergé eggs because it was like Egyptian, whatever. They made up whatever lore. I liked Jungle Cruise, so we're clearly playing on two different fields here. Like it was an adult.
Then you should be happy because The Rock ends up in the goddamn jungle again.
I know, in his same jungle shirt that he always wears. Did you see the meme?
Yes.
Where it's him in 4 different movies wearing the exact same shirt in the forest. And it's like, this is 4 different movies. Hey, he knows what he's good at.
Literally, the first time I ever saw him was in The Rundown, and that was in the goddamn jungle. But I love that movie, actually. Okay, I feel like this should have been higher up on my list in terms of like disappointment to hate ratio.
Okay.
But yeah, I did not like Dune. And here's why I didn't like Dune. Dune, I already said it, and I won't waste too much time. But you want to watch the story of Dune? Don't come at me. Don't come at me with, but the book does this and that. I'm in the theater. I've never read the book. I'm trying to enjoy this movie for what it is. So I don't.
What it is long and boring.
Long, boring, and it tells the exact same story that Lawrence of Arabia told, except Lawrence of Arabia had the good graces to be almost 3 hours and still finish its goddamn story.
Yeah.
And this one just had Zendaya go, wait for part 2. And I was like, fuck off, film. Also, it was really late at night. And yeah, I think here's my main thing that I didn't like about Dune. Because everyone who defended it to me was like, well, if you read the book, and I was like, no, here's the thing.
You shouldn't.
I get that. I actually understood. It wasn't like I was confused. I understood what they were saying. There was literally nothing to dwell on.
Yeah.
There was no, it was long. It was like, it was like, it surface level explored certain themes, but it was not like, oh, it's a long film that has a lot of like nuance to it where you could be arguing, debating,
depth, and a lot of character development and stuff. Like there was more development of characters in the first episode of Game of Thrones, and it was 50 minutes. You know,
I left that film, and all I had to talk about it was just my frustration at how long it was. Like I was not motivated to talk about anything else with any of the other characters at all. And my top movie on my list is another movie that you could easily say, isn't that the same thing? It's long, it's boring, it feels like it's going nowhere. But that movie was like filled with subtextual like concepts and what are the words? Like
subtle nuances.
Yeah, I'm like blanking here, but the movie that I love, that's not my top 10 or like in my number 1. It was filled with like things that you could literally like debate and discuss for like hours. Mm-hmm. But in Dune, I was like, no, I got it. I don't care.
It was
boring, and it didn't need to be almost 3 goddamn hours long. So
I'm reserving judgment until the next one's coming
for the
out
next
because
3 hours.
I haven't been screwed by that yet.
You want to
so
watch 6 hours to figure out something
I'm gonna watch them all because it was like obviously they took a lot of time to make them. It was a lot of production. I like Zendaya. I like Timothée Chalamet enough. Like, I'll watch it. Like, I don't have a reason not to because I didn't hate it. I just thought it was way too fucking long. It's like 2.5.
It's so long.
240, right? It's like almost 3 hours, and nothing happened. So I'm just like, you literally could have told that story in an hour. Like, so I don't know why you could have just made it an 1.5 hour movie,
right,
and called it a day. I don't know why movies nowadays insist on being 2.5 hours or more.
I know they'd make more money if they.
Yeah, if they get you in and out quick.
Honestly,
and you can play something else.
I think Venom is like one of the top earning films this year, and it's short.
Yeah,
they got people in and out of the theater.
It was like since they started doing like when Harry Potter started veering into the 2 hour range and like all those like was it Harry Potter?
Rings.
What were the Lord of the Rings?
There's a lot of movies that came out in that
things. Yeah, in that era when things started veering into the 2 hour range, they're like, oh my gosh, you can keep an audience that long? I'm going to tell the longest story ever, and you're like,
no. What?
Oh.
What?
One of mine in my top. I think we have an agreement on one in the top because I was like, it could be called the same thing, long and boring and nothing happens. So I think we're agreeing on that. But at the end of the day, the problem with Dune is that it insists upon itself.
Get out of here. All right, we've got a lot
Family
to go,
Guy
and we need to try and wrap this up. So
a lot? I thought we were almost done. Get it going.
Because I have. All right, so for the last 3 of my hated films, I did not like Eternals. I could rant about that.
Eternals.
I could rant about that for another 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
I will basically boil it down to my hatred of that film was the fact that there was a goddamn space baby in the middle of the planet, and no one thought to that's the dumb shit that Marvel just pulls out of their ass all the time. And everyone basically says, great, you're amazing, you can do no wrong. And no one kind of goes, look, I get it. They've made all these films. They're really cool at bringing things back, but there is no consistent logic at a certain point with this where it's like, so you mean to tell me that there's always going to be a bigger, badder villain just appearing out of the goddamn crust of the earth, freezing in the middle of the goddamn crust of the earth, and it's not going to change a single damn thing about like
life or
the way life works or like the atmosphere or like the warmth from the it's like, and that's the shit, like, and it's not a bad movie, but when you've watched, how many of there are there, like 20, 30?
30 something, right?
When you've watched these movies essentially just start to feel like they're being not made up on the spot, but they are being cobbled together like very quickly.
Yes, but I will say that is
and they
how
have
comics work.
I know, but they have the logic of like a game on the field where someone keeps making up rules, and you just after a certain point of like trying to keep track of all of them, you're like, I'm sorry, what? What's the new rule now? It has this frustration where it's like. And the reason I say that is because there's so many ways to solve your goddamn issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could not. Okay, how do I put this? Watching 2 hours of characters who they're trying to convince me care so much about the planet that they live on, and yet I had to watch them essentially like because of how they've been pigeonholed into this universe where they could not have possibly done anything up until the point that the movie starts, because then otherwise it would have ruined it. So I have to hear all the dumbass reasons for why a black gay man literally would not step in for even racism.
Yeah.
Because of Hiroshima. Hiroshima happened years after, like I mean, it's just, it's like it strains credulity for me to watch these characters basically be shoehorned in through this plot mechanic where it's like we can't possibly have done anything.
Yeah, no. It's the same, but I guess a little different. Of like with Miss Marvel,
yeah,
Captain Marvel, where it's kind of like, oh, you've been here the whole time, you've been this powerful. Why didn't you help with this? Why didn't you help with that? And
like, dumb script reason happen on other planets.
But at the end of the day, my movie just wasn't out yet.
It's like so that one line, why, like that was in the trailer to basically shut up the nerds, which was like, why didn't you Thanos? Like, why didn't you try to stop Thanos? Oh, we were told not to. It's like, I get it where it could work from a story perspective, but it just reeks of, oh, we're making these films up as we go along.
But they are, and that's the thing is like,
but they start to just make me not care about those characters.
Like if the movies are for you, then you get to go, hey, I'm invested in this story and I believe this,
Yeah.
like some of us do.
I could rant a lot longer on that, but
Yeah.
I will. Last two, I really have nothing to say except they were just awful goddamn films. But Tom and Jerry.
Oh, why did you even watch
Look,
that?
I was bored one day, and I love the Tom and Jerry cartoons. But Lord knows that was an awful film.
No.
It made me not like Michael Pena, and I love Michael Pena.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
he's all that. My goodness, that was an awful film. Just the worst. That was my number one hated film.
Yeah.
Was He's All That. That fucking movie. Are you kidding me?
Well, you didn't.
He was just the fucking worst. Whatever his name was.
But also, he was you. Remember?
Shut up. Get out of here. All right.
I didn't necessarily have an issue with all that. He's All That. I think it was, for me, it was very much just like a cheesy, like made for TV teen movie that I'm just like, it was like Mean Girls 2 for me, where it's like, that movie was terrible, but if you watch it in the lens of this is terrible, but we're just gonna watch it and enjoy it,
right?
Then it's fun.
All right, so now I've got movies I loved. I have 22, but I will go through them. I'll just rapid fire.
Oh my God! Yes, rapid fire. Then we've been talking for how long? We would have to split. I mean, we're talking about them making 2.5 hour movies. We're making a 2.5 hour podcast. Hypocrites. Go ahead.
Shut up.
Rapid fire.
All right, so we'll start from least loved to absolutely at the top. Okay,
yeah.
Are we ready?
Yep, go for it. Do you know? Are they in?
Oh
order?
wait, not 22. So that was what was confusing.
Is something else?
No, yeah, okay. I only have 18. There we go. Sorry.
Oh, we took 3 off.
That's not how it worked.
4.
All right. So from least to best, these are my 18. Quickly at the bottom, The White Tiger.
All right.
I really like that.
That was cool.
Luca, beautiful film.
Haven't seen it yet.
I love that, so no spoilers.
I think we're going to watch it for the channel, guys.
Yes. Should we? Let us know.
Yeah.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I was telling you about that last night. It was a very sweet film based on a real life person. And as a Christian growing up, who I was never told to... Christians were never depicted as ones who had been welcoming to gay people, at least in the time period that I grew up or before it. Mm-hmm. So to watch someone who in real life actively fought to defend people dealing with AIDS and like actively like invite them in. She was on RuPaul's on RuPaul. Like she got interviewed by RuPaul.
That's cute.
Because she became a gay icon.
Yeah.
Because even though she was Christian, even though she was married to this like televangelist, like she was just so welcoming and accepting and just loving that you couldn't help but like, oh, you're so
help but like her, yeah.
Yeah, you're so damn sweet. And I cried. Like it probably wasn't even that amazing of a film, but to see like, wow, that's how my faith could be if like in the right hands.
Yeah.
Like that broke me down. So I really enjoyed that. Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was a fun movie.
That was absolutely.
Sincerely, we had a great time. You said it. You could have watched even a film with just McKenna Grace.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Grace? McKenna Grace.
The daughter.
That girl who's in everything.
Yeah, the daughter and the teacher.
Paul Rudd.
Like literally just watching him try to work his way into their family.
Yeah.
And watching him kind of like bond with her.
Yeah.
Like in that just the sweetest, most wholesome way of them just being nerds together.
Yeah.
And her just kind of making him look like an idiot.
It was so charming.
I was like, honestly, I really don't even need the ghost. Like I just keep going with this. You're doing great.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. After that, we have Licorice Pizza. You didn't see it. You didn't want to see it.
No.
I do want to say as a disclaimer, Licorice Pizza had 2 things I was very uncomfortable with. For one, they had a character who did the Asian voice. And the first scene, I was laughing at it because I thought I was laughing at him. But by the second time that they did it, I was like,
oh, you're supposed to be laughing with his
I was like, I
voice.
feel like this was used as a joke and you just made me laugh at the Asian voice that I didn't need to be laughing at. So screw you, movie.
Because you thought you were laughing at him being an
I
idiot.
thought because he was like, I'm an idiot. I'm doing voice. And I was like, haha. And then as it kept going, I was like, is this supposed to be the joke? Just that? I'm mad.
Yeah.
And the second thing was she was like 27 and he's like 15. Or she's 25 and he's 15. Either way, there's an age discrepancy.
That's what I hated about Call Me By Your Name. He's 24 and he's 17.
So that was that. But it was a very well done movie. I enjoyed it.
I told you not to watch it.
French Dispatch. That was a fun movie.
That's on my need to watch list.
I think you would enjoy it. I'd be interested.
I mean, you didn't think I would enjoy it enough to make sure I watched it with you.
Oh my God, Benjamin, get the hell out of here. Okay, so now at this point, I wish this was higher, but it's just all the films that are above it I liked a little bit more. Loved House of Gucci.
Oh,
I had a great time with that.
Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
Father, Son,
and we saw
House
it
of Gucci.
on the first night, or
no, we saw it the first week.
Yeah, somewhere in the first
and
few
people
days,
were in the theater,
and everybody was there for it.
It was great,
so good. It was such a good audience.
That's good theater experience.
Yeah,
so people
I
are
love
like
it.
there, and they all in unison. Father, Son,
and
House of Gucci.
And then we all started cheering.
Okay, number 11. This movie. Stop reading my list, Benji.
I'm laughing at the fact that we're still at 11. We're like 2 hours in.
All right. This is number 11. This movie got me through a hard time. I was having a literal panic attack this day, and we watched it as a family, and we were just crying our eyes out. And I actually know the costume designer. I know the costume designer on this film.
Got it.
And I'm literally like, shout out to Tracy Fields. I almost blanked on her name.
Yeah.
For Barb and Star, go to Vista Del Mar. Fuck, that movie was funny.
That was fun.
It's been a long time since we've watched just a solid comedy.
Yeah, no, true.
Like
true.
just there to make you laugh.
Yeah.
And God damn if that was not like a funny ass movie. And we were watching it with all the right people.
Yeah, that was a fantastic movie watching experience for us.
I was just,
and that was definitely one that I watched. And I was like, ew, I'm not gonna watch that.
we had
when I saw
so
the
much,
preview.
Jamie Dorey and his musical number.
It was
that was so good.
And he was hot with Christian Grey.
Yeah, Christian Grey. So then number 10, we've got Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh,
I know. Did you put that in your list, or did you even
it's
think
higher for me?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
We've got Wrath of Man, which was the Guy Ritchie film with Jason Statham. I thought that was just a solid film, not 4 hours long, so that's why it beats out.
Fantastic.
I'll probably watch it more than I bought it. Number 8, we got Malignant.
Oh, ew! It's in your top 8 for the year.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, that movie was trash.
That movie was so much fun.
Yeah, it was so bad.
It was bad. No,
but not good bad. It was like poorly planned bad.
At first, I was kind of like, I thought she was a weird main character. I thought like there was a lot of stuff that at the beginning of the film I was like, whatever. This is just like poorly written. It went for some weird ass gonzo moments that were so much fun. I cannot wait to watch that with a group of people and see what they think and just argue.
Oh,
like by the time we got to the zoom ins where she was like, I'm adopted, and then it like dropped the where's my mind, and it was like just so like,
and it's like we knew
already
that.
know
like
this.
they were like doing like dramatic zooms on facts that we already knew. I was like, yeah, I'm know.
Sorry. That was so much fucking fun for me. Like I literally was in the theater laughing. Like this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I cannot help but love it.
Oh my gosh. No, that was bad.
Number 8.
Please, if you've seen Malignant, let us know what you think about it.
Number 7, I loved Cruella.
Okay.
Loved it. I loved
fair. I'm never gonna tell a straight man not to love a fabulous woman.
I love the production design of that film.
Mm-hmm.
I love the needle drops were, I think they integrated them well. It's one of those time periods where like, sorry y'all,
we're both kind of sick.
It's one of those time periods where it's like I've heard those songs exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like Sympathy for the Devil, all these songs, like we've heard them before, but it's still, it was a nice transport back to that time period.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I love Emma Thompson, who's the villain, the Baroness.
I was like Emma Stone.
No, Emma Thompson is, she is like my top. I can't tell if she's number 1 or 2.
If I could have watched a Cruella movie with that character that Emma Thompson played, the antagonist character, the Baroness, as Cruella, that would have been gold for me.
I honestly, I get the hang up there.
Yeah,
I still thought it was
like
fantastic.
Like a young, cool Cruella isn't Cruella to me, but I would have been interested to see like a young, like Baroness type.
She was great.
Kind of awful Cruella.
And also, I get it. Dalmatians didn't kill her mom.
Yeah,
the Baroness killed her mom. The Baroness was her mom.
Yeah, and we called it, or not that the Baroness was her mom, but that the Dalmatians, that it wasn't her fault,
right,
or whatever. But no, I think also the fact that she came from humble beginnings to me was also something where I was like, Cruella doesn't come from humble beginnings. Cruella's been rich from day one.
No, look, I will agree with you. When people who don't know films try to understand how this fits in the chronology of like the films that have actively been released, like it's like, no, it doesn't. It's not even a prequel. It is a story inspired by.
Yeah.
Because it's a prequel to what? There is no movie in that film's universe that it could conceivably be the prequel to.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
It doesn't. And that's why I didn't like the marketing. Was like, see where the origins.
Yeah,
of
like
Cruella.
it doesn't line up with any.
There's no way this
101
lines up with
Dalmatian
anything
movie.
that we've seen previously in theaters. But as its own thing that took the name Cruella and went a different direction, I fucking loved it.
Fair.
I thought it was great. Number 6, The Last Duel. We talked about that. That is an interesting film because I don't know if I'd watch it again.
But it was just
It was so well done.
Yeah, I agree.
But 2 rapes is enough for me. 0 rapes is my
more than
preference.
enough. Yes, exactly.
0 rapes
I
is
was
the
like,
preference.
Gonna try that one again?
In theater, in a movie. Sorry. Wow. I didn't realize how that sounded.
Yeah.
But in a movie, I genuinely don't like watching rape scenes.
No, we don't want to watch any of that. And it was coincidental because we had literally just had a conversation about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like the night before. And then we both just kind of haphazardly were like, oh, we were both interested in seeing this. I personally forgot what it was about.
Right.
I just knew I had been interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
And so we bought the ticket and we got there. And then when the story started unfolding, I was like, oh shit, this was about a rape.
Yeah.
I was like, son of a bitch, we just talked about that.
Yeah,
You
we
wanna
did
see
not.
this.
I did not enjoy it. I loved Adam Driver, though. I loved Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was my MVP of that. I was surprised. I thought he was going to stand out like an American sore thumb. And he's still like,
did well.
I'm not an accent person, so he probably could have been horrible.
Adam Driver's American.
Yeah, but he's a much stronger actor than Ben Affleck is when it comes to character work. I like Ben Affleck, but when I think character actor, I don't think Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but I'm like, were any of those characters actually British?
Yeah. Well, their character. Even Matt Damon was weird. Matt Damon's mullet was weird.
Matt Damon's not, and then the main girl, is she?
Jodie Comer? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, top 5.
Let's go.
What are your
top
movies?
5 for the year?
What do you have?
Is this top 5 for the year?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a top 4.
You have a top 4? Okay, so I'll say my number 5, and then you'll say your 4, and we can go from there. All right, so my number 5, No Time to Die.
There's just no time to die.
Yeah, that was very good. You didn't even see it, did you?
I didn't see it. You went without me.
I did not. You couldn't go.
I couldn't go because y'all booked it at a time that I couldn't make. Barely. Like, I was like, I could have kind of made it.
Whatever.
But, like, y'all watched all of them without me. And I was like, just, I don't want to, I'm not interested.
It's not my fault that over the past 17 years, you haven't watched a single goddamn.
We literally watched, 10 Mission Impossible movies together because you were like, they're coming out with another Mission Impossible. We have to watch all of them. And maybe watch 8 Mission Impossible movies over the course of like 6 days.
Stop complaining.
And
you enjoyed those movies.
And that's not even coming out for like 2 more years.
All right.
And then for freaking...
Look, we're trying to wrap this up here, Benji.
For James Bond,
Benji.
you couldn't have me watch 4 movies?
Look, Benji, we got to wrap this up, okay?
Yeah, okay, because you're losing. Anyways.
No Time to Die was amazing. There's story issues I had with it. I can't even rant with you because you haven't seen it. Story issues I had with it. I loved the ending. I thought it was a very beautiful ending. I was surprised by it, and I saw it twice in IMAX, so it was just the experience of seeing a film in IMAX. It was a very theatrical film. It felt that out of all the films that I saw in theaters, that felt like the most like, we're gonna make a goddamn movie. Like this is gonna be like an experience, and a lot of times like experience and forsaking like plot elements. Like there's certain points where I'm like, well, that was probably a little bit bigger than it had to be, but don't care. Had a good goddamn time. It was fun. So there you go.
There you go.
That was number 5.
I have a top 3, so do your 4.
I thought you had a top 4.
I moved House of Gucci down 1 because I thought you had a top 3.
Oh no.
House of Gucci was in my top 4, but I docked it a point because I thought maybe I only like it because of Gaga. Put it down into the like list.
Give it all the points.
Technical 4.9.
Wow. Should have given it the 5. All right, number 4 for me was West Side Story.
Okay.
West Side Story.
What?
Have you brought it up yet?
Yeah. Remember I was saying I just didn't think a few parts
That's right.
hit as strong. It was like an hour ago, so.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. No, West Side Story I think did a really, really good job of I didn't even think of it as comparison. It's just another version of it and a really well done one and a great theatrical experience. Like when I think of like what a musical should be, that's along the lines of what I would want.
Absolutely, I agree. I really liked I liked the fact that they were able to kind of, I don't know, I felt like I found out a little bit more about what was going on in the world and things.
Yeah, they leaned heavy into kind of the environment that shaped these characters.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like it was a little bit more than just, oh, a musical, here's where we are, figure it out. And it was more a little bit like, okay, here's kind of what's going on, and now we'll kind of go into it.
And they did a good job integrating the music in terms of like the dancing. Like in the first like 3 minutes when you see these guys dancing on the street, it's hard not to go, okay. What are you doing? Especially when they're like trying to look tough, but they're still like pirouetting and stuff. You're like, nothing wrong with guys dancing, but it's just like, you don't see that in real life. No, you don't see gangs walking through the streets
and step ball changing, you know, in synchronicity with beautiful execution, unless you're in West Hollywood.
Right. So that doesn't normally happen. And yet, but within like 5 minutes, I bought into it and was like, oh, I don't care. This is great.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
It was good.
So, all right.
I did like it a lot. I just thought that there were parts that were stronger than the original. I will say it again because I've said it like 6 times. Okay. So I don't know what order these are in for me necessarily. But let's say first is going to be, the 3 will be Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, damn, that was higher up.
I really, really did like that movie.
Shit, dude. But
the thing is I really liked the other Justice League too. I just like them in 2 different ways. They're like 2 kids, you know? One kid tells really long, intricate stories, and the other kid is just happy and just tells real quick, short, to the point stories, and you love them both.
So not me. So I'm not that kid.
You're not that kid. You're the other one. I'm the first one.
Oh.
So and I think it's such like a mood, and it's such a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
Baby, are you ready for the ride?
Oh God.
But no, like I really did enjoy it. I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times now, because like I watched the first one, then I watched the black and white one, and then I started watching it at bedtime. So I've made it through it a few times. Yeah. So
it feels like an album. It feels like putting on a record.
It's something real. Yeah. And I think that's why it's top 3 is obviously it's like technically a great movie. I like that you learn a lot more about what's going on. The story makes more.
Cyborg is so much better.
So much. I didn't hate him in this one, but the story is so much better. And then the fact that it really is something that I could just kind of put on in the background.
Yeah.
But end up watching the whole thing.
One issue though. Mm-hmm. Why does the Flash run like that? Why can't he run for shit?
I don't know. That's their casting. His little like flicking his arms out.
But the ending with him was beautiful. When he was like, I don't remember what he says about his dad, but he's like, I'm gonna like, he basically outruns freaking time itself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was bawling when
that was a trip. I was
holy
like,
shit!
Failed? No,
they did.
Way.
They failed.
I was like, they failed, and it was just by pure luck that he outran time.
Normally, endings like that I don't like. Like endings where they undo a failure, I'm not usually about.
Yeah,
this one felt more earned because like I think because like
it was skill. It wasn't luck.
Well, it was also skill, but I was going to say it was scary. Like, because usually when there's an ending where it's undone, it's kind of like people forget about it. Mm-hmm. But in his case, it was like
he was the last
human, and that terror of like seeing that around him and then outrunning it, that hit me.
It bothered me because I was like, oh no, they failed, but thank God he was there. But geez, that was, ooh, y'all made that by the skin of your teeth, bro. Oh my goodness.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Yours? Third?
Oh, number 3 for me was the Martin Campbell Maggie Q film, The Protege, with Michael Keaton.
Nice.
And if you haven't watched it, we should watch it because I freaking love that movie.
I guess we could watch it at some point.
It was charming. It was funny. It was competent. The type of word that doesn't usually get thrown out. We're looking for breathtaking. We're looking for like game changing. But a lot of times it's the year 2022 now. Yeah. Sometimes I just want a competent movie.
Yeah.
I want a movie that from start to finish is solid. It's well done. It might not be a groundbreaking, but it tells the story in that genre the best way possible. Uh-huh. And The Protege, like I left that, and it had a few new spins on it. Mainly, I was surprised at how good the chemistry was between Maggie Q and a man like I think twice her age, like Michael Keaton. Mm-hmm. But Michael Keaton's a good actor.
Yeah.
Like he is so good. And like watching them, I was like, yeah, I believe it. And Samuel L. Jackson was in it. So it's like, that's a solid ass film right there. So Protege, that's my number
Didn't
3
he
for the
die
year.
like 10 minutes into the movie?
Yeah.
They show it in the preview.
Yes. But they bring him back with flashbacks. So it's like you are seeing him.
You're seeing his acting.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Number 3.
Number 3, Fear Streets.
Really?
2, Fear Streets. Number 2.
Oh, number 2 for you
It's
is
Fear
Street.
Streets.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
I really did enjoy those. They were terrifying and unsettling, but they were campy and they were exactly what I wanted them to be.
That's awesome.
Like when you explained Fear Street, or not even, because I don't think I saw anything about it beforehand.
Right.
I think I just saw Fear Street, and then the dates, and I was like, that seems interesting. And then when you were like, we should watch them, it's basically about this, I was like, that sounds really fun and campy, and I'm like, I want to see that. Yeah,
they were perfectly what they were supposed to be.
Exactly. And like my top movies are never going to be anything that's like artistically it's this or stylistically or blah blah. It's just like it's what I'm going to enjoy watching and what I'm going to be able to watch again with people and enjoy as like a group. That's definitely like going to be a yearly Halloween movie
really?
for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so and they were a lot of fun for me.
That's awesome. Number 2 for me. Last Night in Soho.
Oh my God.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
Shit. That was a good movie.
Did you forget about it, or is it in your list?
No, it's not. It's not on my list. But what was funny was I was thinking about it as I was going through the list, and then I forgot to put it on.
How dare you?
It's up there.
And you know what? It was another film where it was like, I did have the first time I saw it, and then I was reading reviews about it. I did kind of have some issues with it. Kind of mainly in her as a character in some areas, but it is a movie that does benefit from a rewatch. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it even more the second time watching.
I could see that being a second timer.
Yeah, and I saw it because I saw it with you. The first time I saw it was just me. Edgar Wright literally was hosting like a Q&A afterwards, or they hosted a Q&A with Edgar Wright, the director. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to that.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was good. I enjoyed it. And then I was like, all right, well, I had tickets to see it at the New Beverly, which is Quentin Tarantino's theater. Mm-hmm. It wasn't one that you were like super excited about.
Yeah, I was like pretty interested though. So you still saw it without me, but that's fine.
Get out of here. So it's like I liked it. Mm-hmm. I was like, if I had better plans for a Halloween, or if it had been tickets that I could have returned easily, I probably would have been like, whatever. So I'm glad that I ended up seeing it at that theater with you, and they did like a pre-show that kind of got us in because it's not like an AMC. Like, they actually got us in the zone for this like 60s London era film.
Absolutely.
And it really helped. Not just that, but it was like rewatching it. I was like, oh shit, I have a better understanding where the story is going now.
You can see where it's setting up.
You were actually surprised by, I think, one of the turns, weren't you?
Yeah, I forget what it was, but I did very much enjoy it. I think it flipped back and forth like a few times in it, where it was like you think one thing and then it flips and you're like, oh, it's this, and then it flips back and then it flips again, and it just kind of like, what?
So spoiler, I will say the ending, the reveal of like the woman, what is her name?
That she's living with.
That she's still alive, and that she's actually the one who's been killing all the men. For a brief second, I was like, because whenever the ghost men are like, save us.
Yeah,
for a brief second,
I thought it was gonna make.
I was like, okay,
put her on the guy's side, and I was like, well, don't do that.
Yeah, I was like, that would leave a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And when she went, no, I was like, okay, good. I was like, this is a male director. I love Edgar Wright, but I could easily have said, like, I could have seen him saying, well, I wanted to show like.
Sometimes rape is the woman's fault. Like, no.
I didn't know what I was expecting, but I was like, Edgar, please don't go this route.
Please don't do this.
Please don't. And then she said no. I went, okay, good. It was a female writer who wrote it. Oh, she was there too, and I can't remember her name, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was solid, and I'm actually excited to watch again. I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to see it in theaters, but I am excited to buy it and watch it again.
Yeah, I definitely will watch that again. It was pretty freaky at some points. So I was like,
yeah, I think that's what surprised me because I wasn't freaked out at all when I watched. Like I jumped, but you genuinely were like skin crawling.
Those, yeah, the spirit, men, guy spirit things that were after her were like so unsettling.
That's funny.
Whole time, like ugh.
All right,
but it was a good movie. Number 1s.
Number 1.
Count of 3. They're different.
I was like,
my number 1.
Yep.
Was a movie that I freaking loved. I thought it had
had
a great balance of like comedy and drama and just action and everything that we needed. It hit what I needed it to hit. I knew it was going to be good, and it was good. I saw it, I think, about 3 times in theaters, and I will definitely continue to watch it afterwards.
Y'all, I don't know what movie he's talking about.
Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was your number 1?
I loved that movie.
Oh, shit.
It was so good. I loved Awkwafina in it.
She was great.
Fantastic. She was such a good comedic relief without being just the I'm here to be funny, but I'm completely pointless.
Oh no, she was great.
And like also like just still ending up being useful and low-key saving the day at the end, along with like their relationship where it was like a little bit flirty, but still like
friendship vibes,
but probably more.
I honestly, I'm hoping for more.
I'm like, I hope for more, but I like that they didn't push that in the first one and make that like the agenda. I like that it seems like they're kind of growing that like naturally.
Yeah.
You know, I like that she doesn't really have the, like, it doesn't seem like she has like the acting credit or whatever to be like the kind of female lead to an action movie where it's like you wouldn't pick her and say like, oh yeah, female lead for the next Marvel movie, but they very much put her in that role and she works perfectly in it, like kind of working side by side with him. So yeah, that, and just fucking loved it.
It was very, I liked. Most of my issues with that film are just issues I have across the board. Like I said, with Marvel, I think what it did well, it did exceedingly well in terms of like, because it's like Eternals. I didn't really like Eternals outside of the issues I also have with Marvel. Regardless, this was one where it was like, I think it was an incredibly solid, really well done film, and it was just more of the fact that like, I wish you could have been a little bit more room to play, but like that's not even really a detriment to it. It was like for instance, how did she learn how to be that good of an archer in a day?
She has magic.
A day.
I don't know.
It's like that's the thing with Marvel. They're just like, gotta make it so quick.
I don't think it was a day. I think it was like a week or so. It was a few
days.
Not.
It was not.
It was, right?
It wasn't. I'm pretty sure.
Because I remember not being annoyed by that, or maybe that one was one that I just kind of let go, because I know that's a trope that I usually hate, is when people are like, oh, like I got this, you know, and it's like, you have no right to get it. Like I think I was worried about that with Shang-Chi when he was learning the martial arts that his mom was doing.
Yeah,
but I was like, he's already a martial artist, so he could pick it up quicker in general. His mom had already kind of was teaching him when he was younger, so it's like he kind of has it, and it's like it's the magical family element that it's like he's probably gonna pick it up quicker. But also when he fought his dad, he didn't have it mastered. He just had enough to barely make it work. Like,
that's true.
So it was like he wasn't mastering it. And like same with, I feel like with her, it was like she kind of she practiced for a day or two, and she was good enough to be there and to help, you know? And she's slowly getting better.
Sure. I feel like that's a good review for a lot of Marvel films. It's just sure.
It was great.
Yeah, it is.
I liked it a lot.
I'm just, when plot elements happen, I go, okay. Like, Ned has magic fingers now. I get that they dropped that line for a quick second, and that's the thing I hate about Marvel fans. Like, well, they mentioned it at the beginning. He said he has magic fingers. I'm like, you're telling me after 4 movies that he's been in.
Who's Ned?
Ned is the best friend of Peter Parker.
Oh, okay.
You're telling me 4 films, 1 Doctor Strange film. So that's 5 potential films that we could have established any of these things. And then 1 tiny ass little line, like basically shoved under the carpet.
No, I love when people try to say like things like that. They're like, well, they established it.
They didn't do any goddamn establishment.
They didn't establish it. They put a random line in there so that they could technically say, well, we said it.
Fuck that. That's the Marvel issue I have. That mad-libbing their way through a movie.
So are you not supposed to, even if you have the ring,
like
you're not
Doctor
supposed to be
Strange,
able to
even Doctor Strange is like, he's a fucking
surgeon.
Well, he even him, the fact that he learned what he learned so quick in that universe when every other character has just been like, oh, we've been studying this for years, and he got so good.
He really shouldn't have been able to do that.
So even him being as good as him, like that,
As
he's
he
the
is
Sorcerer Supreme. It's like,
okay.
that's a stretch, but I get it. He's Doctor Strange. You have to get there somehow. And in a Marvel film, everything has to happen in like, so quick. But Ned, I got magic fingers. Great. You've literally never tried doing anything with them. You get a sling ring for 1 second, and somehow you know the exact. I mean, I know he's watched him, but no, that would be like, hey, my dad's a pilot. Okay, cool. Now you're
fly this plane. I feel like the sling ring's a little easier to use than a plane.
I don't
go
think
like
it is.
this. I could figure it out.
I think that's the issue I have with Marvel films. It's like they say they have consistency, but there is no goddamn consistency. Characters who are super powerful in one scene are going to be dumbasses and not do stupid things.
That's hard though, because the Marvel universe in general is every character at a certain point is just ungodly powerful.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
But that's why like my number one, why most movies I love, like they have an established universe that exists just for the film. So everything from beginning to end is important and plays a part, and nothing is wasted. So my number one,
Star Wars.
What? No. My number one, and I'm mad I left it to the end here because I'm already exhausted.
And you don't have time to talk about it.
You know, it's not that I don't have time, but whatever. I loved The Green Knight.
Oh, okay.
Don't act surprised.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess maybe I didn't know that that was your number one.
Said that. I said that basically after the second time seeing that film.
Yeah.
I was like,
but
that's my favorite film of the year.
3 or 4 months ago.
Nothing else has been as good as that film. And I get it. It is long. Technically, not a lot happens in terms of like, but everything in terms of like a dense storytelling.
Yeah.
It's literally just a guy goes on a journey.
Yeah.
But every single scene is about how cowardice this character is.
Yeah.
And it does so well. Just from the small things where he's like, when he, who is the character? Is it Guinevere? Not Guinevere.
His mom?
No, the headless one. You know this time period more than I do.
Oh, I don't know the headless one though.
Well, you know, where she asks him.
She's looking for her
head. And he goes like, what do I get in return? And she's like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
What a terrible thing to ask someone. Like, it's just every single
help me.
scene in that movie is just so perfect. In terms of what they're trying to establish, like, because I got into an argument with someone who's like, "Oh, everything was pointless. Oh, why did it have to be why did it have to be such a long take of him riding on his horse?" And I was like, "Oh, let me tell you, that was so important because the entire film, like, he's like, I have no story to tell. I'm not important at all." And King Arthur, that dynamic was phenomenal too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, you don't have a story to tell yet. And then they all, both his mom, who is Lady Morgana, his mom and King Arthur, both simultaneously, whether they were working together or whether they just really cared about Gawain. They both simultaneously essentially give him a call to arms. It's like, it's time for you to step out. And he takes it. He's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. But he has no idea of the depth of what he's supposed to do. And like, you already see that in the scene when he gets into the ring, thinking like it's going to be like a match,
a normal duel,
duel. And the Green Knight literally like bows his head and goes, yeah, strike me. So you can already see like, he's like, this isn't what I was expecting, but it really hits home when it's like, you're going to go on this quest. This is an amazing quest. And it's like, this is the most boring shit ever.
I know. I felt that too. Because when he was leaving and the kids were chasing him, and it just does the long take of the kids chasing, and then they just kind of lose interest and
they walk
off, and then it doesn't cut, and he's still just.
And you can kind of see like,
Yeah, there's a lot in between you leaving the castle and then fighting a dragon. There's
Exactly.
a lot of walking. I think this about a lot of stuff too. Like even like something as like stupid as like Shrek when they're walking for like 4 days, and you're just like, that's gotta be fucking boring. Because they like, they put it to a pop song and they have them like talking and they show their silhouettes while the sun goes down and the moon comes up, and you're like, bro, they've been walking for a week. Like, what have they been doing? That's boring.
And it hits so well because also it's important. It's like his audience has left.
Yeah.
And once even his audience is gone,
It's just him and the quest.
it's him and his own courage and his own, what's the word? Your dignity. And it's like, he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that for shit.
Yeah.
And every interaction that is like just further cements his cowardice. And it's just such a beautiful, and it's a film that even if you don't like it, you could still talk about it for a long. And I thought it was so interesting leaving the theater for Dune, and we were discussing it, and I was like, everything I was saying about Dune that I didn't like, I remember I was like, I know people technically could say this about my favorite film, but I guess it really is just the mileage that you get out of it. Like when you leave Dune after those 3 hours, do you feel sufficiently like that was a meal? Like I feel like I enjoyed every part of it. I could discuss it, because if you can, awesome.
Yeah.
For me, I left The Green Knight. First time I actually left it, I was angry with it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't fucking get it. But then I went back a second time and was like, this is the best goddamn movie I've ever seen in my life.
Well, excuse me. No, I felt after the first watch, I felt like I was like, okay. Like I was like, you can tell in that movie that it's a type of movie where every single thing means something.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's like when I watched it, I was like, I didn't catch everything. And I absolutely know that. I was like, I caught maybe a third of what was going on. I was like, I caught enough to get what was going on, but I was like, okay, like it was interesting. And then when I think you showed me the video where they kind of broke down the general, like it was basically him, this is his quest, this is what he struggles with, and this whole quest was just different points testing him in different areas.
Yeah.
And this was this and that was that. And I was just like, oh yeah, I see that. And then going back and watching it again and being like, that, yeah. And then being able to fill in my own kind of, and I see where this is kind of here. Like now that I can see the skeleton of what's happening, I can personally fill in while I'm not, because my brain isn't like, wait, what the hell? So then my brain gets to fill in the little details and go, so I know this is happening, so all these little things are lining up too.
So good. And Dev Patel also was an awesome, all the acting in that. Even, what's her name? With the voice that she always gave.
The lady.
What did she keep asking? What did it feel like? What did it feel like?
What? Can I be your lady?
Can I be your lady?
You'll be my man. Something like that. All right. Well, this was freaking fun, Popstars. I am so incredibly sorry that we're at 2 hours and looks like 7 from here.
Yeah, but that was also including all our first attempts at doing this.
Okay, well, I am so sorry that it's at whatever it's at right now, because it's past an hour.
Don't apologize to them. This is what they wanted.
Should we break it up?
No.
Okay, well, we're going to time the next ones, and we're going to make sure they're at least under an hour.
Hey, this is our first podcast
30
back.
to 40 minutes. It's our first one back. We took our time.
We were recounting all of our favorite films from the year.
Recounting everything. It was great. We love hanging out with you guys. Obviously, a lot of y'all hung with us for 12 hours in our live stream, so this is a cakewalk. But
it's easy. And I feel bad. I think we'll release our list so you can like look at them.
Yeah.
Because I do have movies that I still haven't watched. Like I haven't watched Tick Tick Boom. I haven't watched Spencer. We were gonna see Nightmare Alley. Didn't see that. Lamb. Lamb was the movie I wanted to see the day I had a panic attack. So we watched Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar instead.
Yeah, which was the perfect.
It was such a better counter.
But I really wanted to see Lamb. I wanted to see Antlers. Nobody would go see that with me.
Hey, that's on my list now. I think I can see it.
Okay.
But when you're having panic attacks thinking the world's going to end, that and Lamb were not films I wanted to see at the moment.
They weren't the ones. Psychological thrillers weren't your bag.
I mean,
at that
even
point.
Don't Look Up kind of fucked me up.
No, I saw that like right at that last piece when everything kind of went to shit. I looked over and I was like, oh, he's not fully healed.
So here's the thing, y'all. I was taking a lot of edibles at the beginning of the year watching films. Amazing. Then I had a panic attack. I don't think I'll be taking edibles for ever.
Honestly, like probably just be done with
probably.
It
We're just not going to have that. So
yeah.
Anyways,
this was super fun. Let us know, like, at least your top 5. If you want to make a whole freaking list, go for it.
We'll read them. But
yeah.
Top 5 recommendations, underrated films that you thought were overrated. I love least favorite. Like, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Rant, please.
Let us know your least favorite films because I want to see them.
And if you agree or disagree with things that we've said.
I'm sure they. I just said that Spider-Man No Way Home was a bad film.
I said I didn't like Cruella that much. So.
Yeah, so this has been the Pink Popcast. We're wherever you listen to your podcasts. Share, recommend. Otherwise, just tune back in. We'll be here Wednesday with another. I think we'll do
cool episode for you. I don't think we should do that now.
I think we should. We could talk because there's not as much. I think we should talk about our top shows from last year. Do you want us to talk about the top shows from last year?
Sure. We'll probably talk about our top shows from last year. If we don't do it next week, it'll happen at some point.
Stop trying to avoid this, Benji.
I am. This took so long. I was not ready. Okay. So,
do we have a sign off?
Fun. Love y'all. Good night.
Wait. Hey.
I was like, we don't have one.
What did we used to say?
Did we do the same sign off?
I'm Josiah Rizzo.
I'm Benji Jones.
Sweet dreams, Popstars.
Keep watching is the YouTube channel. Keep listening. What did we sign off for the old one?
I think we used to just say that we wore pink.
Oh, yeah. Until then.
I'm Josiah Rizzo.
I'm Benji Jones.
I don't remember.
And on Wednesdays we work.
All right, y'all. Bye.